Hey, hey. Hi, guys. All right. So, first off, thank you, everybody. This is obviously Tarot Dog, the channel that I originally started as a vanity channel for my baby dog. And baby dog is 5. Now, he's in Aries, right? He was born April 3rd, but I celebrate around this time of the year because this is when I got him, was over this last weekend 5 years ago. So, we are going to do just to kind of celebrate Aries Tarot Dog and to thank you guys for being an amazing part of the community both here and on Case Regretless Life. We're going to be doing storytelling. So as always, all you have to do is type the letter E in the comment section. You can type it as many times as you want. I always pull from the bottom of the chat as the chat moves pretty fast. But before I get into this, let me just mention at the end of this video, I'm going to turn off all comments and I'm going to do a storytelling for the following names. This is a thank you to you guys from last night. So you already know who you are, but I'll say it again and I will timestamp these for you. So AC, MOnique, SLH, Yael, Devine, Aliiaonherpath, Duanette Raven, and NoorA. So I will be getting to you guys at the end and I'll timestamp things for you as well. So just hang tight for that. I'll probably do about an hour and a half of card pulls right now. And then for that last half hour, I'll be attending to those names that I just mentioned. So let me go ahead and say thank you guys. Obviously, these are some pictures of my baby when he was younger. A lot of you have probably seen this. This is him before I even got him. This is before he was officially weaned. So it's very near and dear to my heart. Anyway, guys, thank you, everybody. You are so lovely, you guys. I'm so delighted and honored that you guys are here. All right, here we go. Giselle, don't die. You're adorable. He's like, I would just die. I will get to you right now, baby. And thank you. And trust me, it's just a quick one card pull. Remember, these are fictional stories. You guys are so lovely and so kind. Oh, Shriza Ali, you angel. Thank you so much. I will get to you in just a minute, Shriza. All right. So first off, Giselle, we have got the energy here of the Knight of Swords. Now, this could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. He is somebody who's a thinker. He's been toying with contemplating things a little too heavily, and he's about to get some kind of a message coming in from, I'm going to say, a guide, and that's going to solidify. If he's been waiting for the answer as to what he should do, he's about to jump up and get moving. This could be somebody who suddenly is going to want to talk, somebody who's suddenly going to want to communicate, and it is because as much as he weighs pros and cons and, back and forth and hems and haws, all of a sudden it's going to be, okay, now I know what to do. I know what direction to go. I know what to say. I know how to jump up and get moving, grooving. So kind of exciting. The fact that his guide is coming in to give him advice probably means it's going to be a message from the higher self. And I always say the higher self never tells us to do something that would be mean or unkind. Usually the higher self is like, do the honorable thing, do the thing that's on your heart, do the highest vibrational thing. So I would say that's going to be a good movement forward for him. But he's been thinking about it for a long time anyway, but it looks like clarity comes in. Shriza Ali, thank you a million times, babe. Let me get to you right now. Hi, guys. I will get to as many of you guys as I can. I'm doing one card pulls, but sometimes 2 or 3 come out. It's just, I won't put a card back if it pops out, even though I'm only looking for one, because I feel like that would be wrong. So you guys know that about me. So sometimes, even though I strive for one so I can get to more of you, sometimes we get more than one. So, and I got to honor that. Justice and the Page of Swords. Okay, so a lot of fast-moving, thoughtful energy. We have got Loki riding in on his peregrine falcon. This is somebody who's a little bit all over the place. This could be somebody who did somebody a wrong. Either they wronged a Libra, they themselves could be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, but they know that they messed up. They know they did something wrong, possibly to the divine feminine, because this is the goddess Isis from the Egyptian pantheon, and she is depicting the symbolism here of the Egyptian concept of Ma'at and Isfet, right? So the relationship between chaos and harmony in the universe, and the fact that it is actually necessary, but when you have too much of one or the other, it's no good. So I'm just going to say he represents chaos because he comes in as the god Loki, maybe to her calm, but frankly, if he's trying to learn something about how to be more calm and he's already kind of like created a ruckus, I gotta say, it looks like this is somebody who's coming back in for more of the same. They may always bring some chaos because they're still a young soul who hasn't learned yet from the goddess how to, find divine balance, but maybe that's why he's so attracted to her, drawn to her, wants her at this very like spiritually subconscious energy. He may desire her energy because it's like, I'm a chaotic mess and I need to learn from you. I'm drawn to you. I'm attracted to you. I may love you, but I keep bringing in a mess. He doesn't seem like a bad sort. He just seems like he's not a super mature sort. Not the best message, but it is what it is. You guys, thank you so much. Oh my God, so unbelievably generous. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You are so, so kind. I'm going to get you right now. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Red and Albert Show. Thank you, Juanita. Thank you so much, AJSRVIM. I'll get you right after Juanita, okay? Just a second. Please know, you guys, these are free. This is just to say thank you, and thank you for celebrating my baby's life. I know you guys put up with all of his barks and everything. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your incredible kindness, endless generosity. Oh my God, Juanita, thank you. All right, so Juanita, I might timestamp this for you in case you're gone. You said you have to bounce out. So 5:40. We have Hierophant, we have Queen of Swords, we have Queen of Pentacles. And sorry, like I said, I'm going for one, but we're getting multiples. It just is what it is. There's strong Taurus. We have possibly the universe is chit-chatting, possibly with two divine feminines. This could end up becoming a same-sex couple. This could be a couple that's very well matched. There could be an earth sign and air sign dynamic here. This could also have nothing to do with love, but rather about connection, communication, but at a very high vibrational level. But it feels like the divine is signaling to both of them, and they're sitting there both contemplative, like receiving the message. In particular, we have our air sign feminine who is holding her phone, and she may be waiting for a message, but it could, like I said, be coming in actually from the divine, not from something within herself, but more like, oh my gosh, this is what I needed to sort out. Now, my impression is that these two are both waiting on the other one to call, to reach out, to connect. Say that it could be the air sign that's going to wind up reaching out to the earth sign feminine. Again, this doesn't have to be about romance, but it is about a beautiful bond between two people, and it's a very spiritual bond. This could be something that's further on down the road in the horizon of a character's future, or that because the universe is playing a role in this, it's probably going to have to do with divine timing. But there is this beautiful, I feel like these queens are so equally matched. They're both accomplished, they're both intelligent, they're both these beautiful souls. And what an awesome energy. So if this is a deep friendship, it seems like things are going to get resolved. If this is a romantic partner somewhere on the horizon, it looks like there is a beautiful matchup. By the way, the color green could look particularly good on our earth sign. The color blue could look particularly good on our air sign. Also, throat chakra, heart chakra, maybe that's part of the balance for these two, is that they both bring in kind of a different element in the chakra realm, something that they both are proficient in that's different but complementary to each other. One feels, the other one communicates with words, and together they could actually be like a really wonderful complement. So whether it's colleagues, coworkers, siblings, lovers, everything's this complement, which is just great to see. My gosh, thank you guys so much. Hold on, I'm going to be getting lost in this if I don't quickly do this. Let me pause for just a second. I'm putting in Juanita at 5. I don't usually timestamp these. I'm just doing it because I know Juanita said she was going to be out in just a second, and you're so generous all the time. Thank you a million times over, and I'm really glad you're feeling better. AJSRVIM, I'm going to get you right now, okay? But let me also just... Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Selene, oh my God, thank you, Angel. Selene, hang on, babe. You'll be right after AJSRVIM. Cataclysmic Awakening, that's so generous. Okay, so let me just briefly mention this. Cataclysmic Awakening, first off, you'll be right after Selene, okay? But you just gifted 5 more memberships. So Cheetah Chandler, Courtney Cat, Anna Paula Oliveria, Helen York, and Vicky, you guys are all now members, and that is courtesy of the Cataclysmic Awakening. Thank you so much, babe. That was so kind. You're so sweet. AJSRVIM, thank you. Chrissy, you will be right after Cataclysmic Awakening, okay? And that is compliments of AJSRVIM. You guys are so kind. It's so sweet. All right, let me go ahead and continue on here. Serena Eden, hi, babe. It's so great to see you. Blonde and Bert, thank you so much. Okay, just a reminder, you guys, you do not need to gift me anything. This is my thank you to you guys. I want a chance to say thank you to you, but please just know you do not need to. Okay. So AJSRVIM, Selene, Cataclysmic Awakening, Chrissy, Blonde and Bert, and Serena Eden, okay? And I'm just to let you guys know, I'm doing it in that order right now on these to say thank you quickly and continue on. AJSRVIM. Let's see what we got. So nice to see everybody. We have got the Four of Swords and the Four of Wands. Okay, so first off, we're rocking some fours, so this can come in very balanced. I have to say, though, the way this looks to me is a divine feminine possibly is very like content. Her life is very whole. And I'm thinking it's because she was able to put the final nail in the coffin of something that is done, that is completed, that is over, something she doesn't need to relive. And it's, you know, sometimes when we let things go is when we realize, okay, I'm super content right now. Like, you know, think of something that's been blocking your door. You know, like if it's a cold winter night and you went to close your door, but unbeknownst to you, whatever, your tennis shoe was in the way. So your door has now been standing open and your house is getting really cold and there's a cold draft. And when you close the door on something, all of a sudden your house is nice and toasty again. She was like something like that. Like she was hemorrhaging energy for a while. And now that it's over and she put the final nail in the coffin, her life actually gets like, oh, now everything is blossoming. I'm not hemorrhaging my energy anymore. And things in her life start to grow. Her business, her contentment, something about her life just feels dialed in, clicked in. And it's awesome. But I have to say, this isn't actually her putting the nail in the coffin. This is a card of marriage. And I almost think two things are happening simultaneously. Either she's meeting somebody new or is just about to, who could be the person she'll wind up marrying. But it coincides almost with her just putting the final nail in the coffin of somebody from the past, a memory of the past, something that was hurtful, that was still draining. As that's done and somebody else shows up, they are related to the nail in the coffin. If you wondered if Aries is here, he's here as always, celebrating his birthday with us. But that just looks, honestly, it looks really good because everything is coming into like balance, focus, and kind of like the way it was supposed to go. Very nice. Yes, he does agree. Thank you guys again. All right, let's continue on. So next up, Selene. Here we go, honey. And Selene, I'm going to use a really artistic deck here just because I'm in the mood. We have got the Devil. It is sideways. And so I know I said it's one cards, but I can't read that as a single sideways card because I could go in too many different directions. This could be two people that are like all kinds of hot and bothered, all kinds of like, I want you too, or this could be two people pissed at each other, or this could be, okay, so we know that characters are looking through their own lens, and you notice how it's like dominating characters' minds. We do have strong Capricorn, but now we have a Knight of Pentacles. So I'm going to say it like this. Knight of Pentacles is slower moving energy, but it is still like we're going to get to the destination. I'm going to read this as a serious attraction that is one of those smoking, smoldering, but really, you know, like one little tiny step at a time, like two people. I'm hearing Pitbull. I know you want me. I know you want me. You know I want you. 1, 2, 3, 4, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Like that's what I'm hearing right now. And it almost like that the rhythm of that song makes me always think about people like almost in a conga line, like slowly like jumping toward each other, you know, doing shoulder shakes and like gyrations. I'm sorry, this feels like we got passion and desire. I can't stop looking at you. I can't stop thinking about you, but it's going to be a while before I move towards you. But damn, if I'm not going to sashay my way towards you at some point, but it feels mutual. So we got some hot stuff. Okay. We got some hot stuff on the horizon with that one. I'm sorry. The image of people dancing and pitbulling out is making me really joyful on this one. Squish Fish, you angel. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Squish Fish just gifted another membership to Tracy. Tracy, welcome, babe. Squish Fish, hang on. I will get you right after Serena Eden. Okay. Next up, Cataclysmic Awakening. Here we go. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so awesome. All right. We have got Magician. Magician upright is the energy of I'm ready to go ahead and either manifest something, but this is like the hands of God in this one for me, or the divine. And so I think a character might be getting a little bit of help from the divine, whether or not they realize it. We have the sacred geometry, we have the sparkle, 9 of Cups in the reverse. Somebody who has not had joy or happiness in a really long time, possibly a water sign. They have somehow, like, things that should have been theirs were snatched away. Their nest egg was stolen. They lost money by a hustler, or they were really generous, and so they wound up caring so much for others and giving so much to others that they ended up coming up short. And the universe is like, look, I saw it. I saw your generosity. I saw your kindness for all that you gave. Think of it this way. You donated all this, you gave all this, you helped other people, even at your own detriment. And now, like, you gave away all your furniture because other people didn't have furniture. You gave away all sorts of comforts because other people you thought needed it more than you, but now you have nothing comfortable. Think of it this way. No, what you did is you made space for me to give you something more beautiful. I feel like this character is about to be heavily rewarded, whatever they've been missing out on. Because of the golden eggs, I kind of look at that as like creature comforts, but it could be anything. It could be like, I haven't had a nice time in a long time. And the universe is like, hang on, we got you, babe. We got you. You got cheated or you gave, but we saw it, and we're going to come in and help make it right. The things that you've transiently wished maybe you could have something good come into your life, we heard that prayer, and it's going to be delivered. That's a really beautiful gift coming in. By the way, strong Virgo Gemini energy behind that as well. So very nice. Oh my God, thank you so much. Tina's just passing time. You angel, thank you. Tina's just passing time, just gifted another membership. The Empress Embodied, you are now a member. By the way, after this tonight, I'll be live in our members corners later on tonight as well. So just so you guys know, in the members corner, we do some extra things as well. Every week we pick winners. So if you're a brand new member, don't forget to bounce over to one of our members' videos. Well, our most recent one last Monday. So you can still enter to win. I always explain how we do things in the members' videos in the very beginning. And Tina's just passing time. You'll be right after Squishbish, okay? You guys, thank you so much. I'm trying to make sure I don't get too off target here. All right, next up, Chrissy. Here we go, honey. Chrissy, thank you so much. We have got 8 of Cups and Death card. Maybe I should have just said we're doing 2 card pulls, because I feel like I'm aiming for one and we're just not getting it, or I'm not completed with my thoughts with one card. We've got 8 of Cups and the Death card, which represents some kind of, first off, strong Scorpio energy, but we could have a masculine who's feeling kind of immature, or maybe they're a young soul. They may have just stormed off. And maybe the reason that they stormed off was because they need to go and grow and change. I'm not reading this as somebody who's walking away and freeing themselves. I'm reading this more as somebody who's walked away and then kind of, you notice how there's this spot of the Milky Way galaxy behind him, almost like, damn, that was super immature. Maybe I need to change. Like, it feels like a masculine might be embarrassed of his own behavior after having stormed off. And it could just be that this is a good turning point. If he is a young soul and he determines, like, we all have the capacity to say, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. I can't believe I just behaved that way. And sometimes we don't think that way until we've already done the thing that we're now embarrassed about. I would argue he has to go off and grow into the man he's going to become. And he can't do that anyway where he was. So there could have been this, big cataclysmic event that made him leave, but I think it's for a good reason, because he's got to transform and change. And we can't always grow in the environment that we're in. Sometimes to grow, we have to make our mistakes, and we have to, separate off, and then we can get our footing and our thoughts and kind of expand. There's something about this threshold that he had to walk through. And I keep thinking it's a threshold of grown-upness. This is somebody they got to let go. We have like this skeleton here. And I feel like it's like they've got to grow up. They have to leave behind the things of youth, the things of childhood, the things of, immaturity. And so I think that's the only way he can do this, is what it looks like to me. So I think it's a good thing. All right, next up, Blonde and Vert. Thank you again, Angel. Thank you so much. You guys, so good to see everybody. Strength card, strong Leo. Oh, we could have a little energy here of lovers coming together, 2 of Swords in the reverse. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that storyline. This always looks more like 2 people finding comprehension and understanding, two people unblocking each other, two people who probably, when they fight, they can be clash of the titans, probably two strong, powerful, maybe alpha, independent souls. And in the past, if they did clash, they might have gone so far as to like, I'm not talking to you, because they couldn't either find common ground. And now what they're realizing is the common ground is the fact that we're both strong. It is, and maybe there was even misunderstandings about whether or not they felt respected. When two people can recognize, okay, these are my strengths, but those are your strengths. And oh my God, if we write them down in a column, it turns out we have very similar strengths. Two really strong people, think of two people arm wrestling and neither can budge because they're both equally as strong. That's not a super fun arm wrestling competition to watch because there's nothing moving. All you're doing is waiting to see who fatigues out first, whose ATP runs out in their body before the other person's. That it's that simple. And I kind of feel like they're seeing this as a positive, though, instead of as a negative. So I think that the chance for real dialogue and mutual respect and gaining understanding of one another is what's possible at this point. That is so good to see. We don't always get that, but it's nice when we do see it. All right, next up, Serena Eden. Here we go. Serena, we have got the Hanged Man, Piscean energy. And I have to say, on this card, we have got these characters that are like coming to catch the thief. And we don't usually see something like that on a Hanged Man card. Okay, 10 of Wands. This could be somebody has finally caught and captured their own elusive ideas. And I do think somebody's been lying to themselves, possibly a masculine who was lying through his teeth to himself, making life harder on himself than he needed it to be. And maybe he's finally waking up to that, because this is now the 10 of Wands. This is delays that are necessary sometimes so that a character can think about things from a different lens. They can consider their actions, their life, their behavior. But now finally we see him saying, oh my God, I've captured that elusive, like how I was sabotaging. I understand it now. I can finally let it go. This could be a really great turnaround for a masculine who had been quite, just like bogging his own mind down for quite a while. And finally it's like, oh, I can let go. I don't have to feel this way anymore. I was my own, blockage. I tangled myself up in self-recrimination. I didn't let myself move forward in love. I didn't let myself move forward in happiness. I can finally do that. I finally see what I was tangling myself up in. This could be nice because if he's going to be expressing himself in a different way now, it could be like a much happier version of him, a much more freed up version of him, somebody who can now pursue what he wants, no longer like holding back and self-sabotaging. So kind of nice to see. Oh, thank you guys so much. Tony the Empress, thank you, Angel. Thank you. Just a second. Let me scroll down because I missed. And Sydney Camp, thank you also. Hang on, guys. I will get to you in just a moment. Let me just add you right here, okay? Tony the Empress, you will be right after Tina's just passing time, okay? And Sydney, you will be after Tony the Empress. And let's see. It's Squishbish, Tina, Tony, and Sydney, okay? Just so you guys know where I'm at. All right, next up. I haven't used this one yet. Sorry, guys, I'm paranoid that I miss things, and I don't mean to. I never mean to be rude. The chat moves really, really fast. So if I screw up, shout it out at me. I'll try to remember to look up here and there. All right, here we go. Squishbish. Let's see what we got. We have the Temperance, and we have the Page of Swords. That Temperance energy is Sag. Page of Swords is I am ready to spy on things. I am ready to gather information about things. Now, he does kind of look just a little teeny tiny bit hostile, though, to be honest. He looks a little bit like, do I want to accept this piece? Do I want to accept the message that somebody is presenting to me? Something about, kindness, open-heartedness. Can I trust this? I don't know why, but my impression is that we have a masculine who's not exactly the most trusting sort, even though we have a feminine that means him no harm, and is really just kind of like maybe even encouraging him to like, hey, be more open, be more comfortable, be more. He's spying on her probably because he's like, can this be true? Can this be believed? Can I let my guard down? I just feel like he's somebody who he comes at things kind of with that side eye, like, I don't know if I trust this. And yet, like, why would you freak out and not trust somebody that's a freaking angel, right? because maybe he hasn't known a whole lot of angels. Maybe he hasn't known a whole lot of really nice people. The fact that she's on his radar so much and he's thinking so much about her and he's turning this over and over in his mind, I think he already knows there's something about like his soul connecting to hers, his soul wanting to connect to hers, and probably because he needs that kind of energy in his life. This could be somebody who doesn't know it like up here, but his heart already knows I'm in love with this person, but he's still kind of off to the sidelines and still kind of like doing more time spying than actually connecting and communicating. But to his credit, he knows somebody wonderful when he meets one, even if this part of his brain hasn't clicked into that yet. Anyway, nice, but also kind of frustrating that he's still in that energy. All right, next up, Tina's just passing time. Here we go, my dear. Tina's just passing time. Let's see what we got. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. This seems like a feminine who's been working really, really hard, has built a very nice life platform, talent, personality, like everything that she is. She's created something that is very solid, and she wants the next adventure still. It's either like, how can I apply everything that I've done in a whole new way? Or maybe I've done this and I'm so proficient at it that it's getting a little dull. So what else could I do? What's my next adventure? I would just say this is a feminine who is like really built herself into a highly respected individual, a very intelligent individual. She has captured all the lessons that she needed to. And I think she's pretty amazing. I think this is a pretty awesome character. But yes, her just because she's reached a point of success does not mean this is where she stops. She's still seeking the next adventure, but is waiting to see what is the next adventure. We got the boss babe written on the clipboard, but she's put the clipboard down. Almost like I'm kind of done being the person in charge. Universe, I hold the world in my hands, but let me say, give me a sign as to where my next direction goes. Maybe she's been focused more on career and path and personal development. Now she's like, you know what? If there's a lover out there for me, I'd be down for that adventure. Universe, I hold it out and I say, where am I supposed to land? What's supposed to come toward me? I'm open. She's waiting for a sign of what the next adventure is. I would say, first off, she's so like, like a self-aware and already so self-expanded that if it's going to be romance or love that she's ready for next, she's going to be really successful at that. If it's, whatever her heart really desires is probably what will happen for her. But I love the fact that she's open enough to say, I'm kind of like leaving it up to give me a sign, universe, show me where I'm supposed to go next. I want the next challenge and next adventure in my life. I love this for her. I love that kind of a character. I love the fact that she's down for whatever, which is a great song. Oh, Duanette, you angel, sweetheart. I'm going to get to you later on and timestamp it for you, babe. Thank you. That is so sweet. You can check back in the video later. You are one of the names that I'm getting to later on tonight. Okay, it'll still be in this video, but it'll be after I've done this for about an hour and a half. Then I'll do yours special and timestamp it for you, so you can just check back later on tonight. Okay, that was as a thank you from last night. That rolls over to today. So forgive me for bypassing you right now, but it's only because I've got you a little bit later on. It'll be timestamped to be easier for you to find it. Okay, you're so sweet. Thank you. Next up, Tony the Empress. Here we go. Let's see, Tony the Empress. What do we have, my dear? We have got the Nine of Pentacles sideways. We have the Two of Swords upright. So at least we're getting this little snapshot of a feminine who is perhaps not seeing herself as she should. Okay. She's so much better than she thinks she is. And if there is like an energy where she's subconsciously blocking some things from coming toward her, maybe she needs to do that for the moment because she needs a little bit of time to catch her breath. So let's just say, sometimes we go through months in our life where it's like, it's just kind of Groundhog Day. There's nothing big happening. There's, I haven't done anything other than my routine for a while. And then sometimes we start to go like, God, this is kind of getting boring. How come there's not more pizzazz? How come I don't have a shift of gears and more fun stuff going on? And I almost think that it's because sometimes when we get into those couple, months or weeks or something where not a whole lot, sometimes it's years. I've gone through all kinds of different, time frames in my own life, but maybe I wasn't like, I was resting. I wasn't really in the pizzazz mode. Maybe I was healing something inside of myself so that I could feel like empowered and saucy and spicy and fun again. And I just think this is a character who is going to be coming back to life, but she has been consciously or subconsciously kind of blocking certain things from entering into her world. Maybe there's not been a whole bunch of new opportunities and a whole bunch of new people and a whole bunch of new lovers and choices to make, but it's not because she doesn't want them or isn't entitled to them. It's maybe because she needed to rest a little bit and then get back to like, hey, I'm fun, I'm sexy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm ready to have some good times, and let me energetically unblock. Let me raise the gates and let stuff come at me again. And I feel like that's what she's on the cusp of, but it's more like she might just not be realizing why there hasn't been a ton coming at her lately. It's probably because she needed that space, that break, that mental, like catch her breath and then kind of like reconnect to her power. That's the way I would say that. So very nice, very beautiful. Sydney Cap, you'll be up next. Oh my gosh. So Juanita, thank you so much. You're so kind. By the way, yours, I got you at 5:40. Okay, babe. I timestamped it for you, so you don't have to wait any longer. Okay. All right. Next up, Sydney Cap. Here we go. That is so kind, you guys. Thank you, everybody. Sydney Cap, you actually just got 3. It is what it is. We've got the 7 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles. It almost feels like it's been a long time coming. It's been a long road. We have this feminine who, I don't know if she thought she was going to be single most of her life. And she was like, hey, I'm good with it. I wear nice dresses. I go out to awesome dinners. You know what? It's cheaper if you're only buying a fancy dinner, a fancy bottle of wine just for one. Honestly, I could live a terrific life. But here's the crazy part. Just when we get to that point where we're like, I'm so content. I don't hunger for this or that. I'm actually loving everything that I am, what I've built, what I've develop, what I've grown into. I love it all. That's when soulmates show up. That's when our other half comes in, right when we're like, what do you mean other half? I'm not needing a half of anything. I can get everything I want all by myself. And I have, and it's great. And actually I've totally, settled on into this really comfortable life that I have. All my needs are met. I'm not half of anything. I'm whole. That is sometimes when we're most ready for a partner, because that's just it. We're not needing a half because we are not half. We are already content. So all we're doing is adding in somebody that graces their life and makes more. Now we have an excess of good things. It's like if you already have this beautiful house that you love, but then somebody gives you this beautiful piece of artwork that now graces a wall. And you're like, that wall was fine, plain, but wow, it's nice with this artwork too. I didn't think I needed anything, but now that it's there, God, I love this. That's kind of the way this comes across. This could be a returning soulmate. This could be a masculine. This could be somebody from a long time ago in her past. This could be somebody who's showing back up for her. But it definitely looks like, oh, this is all clicking, isn't it? I didn't ask for it. I didn't think I needed it. In fact, I didn't need anything. And yet, what an addition to my life. Whomever this is, they are ready to build, to grow. So whatever her life has been, which has already been terrific, is going to exponentially increase and expand. I don't know if bread and wine, I'm thinking, like Italy and France and, just places where it's, crostinis and sipping on wines and things like that. I don't know if that's going to represent like the nationalities that these characters hail from, or maybe they'll take trips to places like that, or maybe that is a thing that they both like, but it represents the good life in my opinion. So very nice. All right, next up, here we go. Holly Light, thank you, Angel. Good to see you. We have got 7 of Cups upright. 7 of Cups says we have a feminine who is possibly, by the way, guys, I'm kind of shifting over. I know I said I was doing 1 card pulls. I really need 2. It's just the way it has to be for me right now. She's about to find her lobster. She's about to find her somebody special. I'm not saying her whole life was just like, oh man, when do I get to get married? When do I get to have my love affair? It's not that. In fact, if anything, the 7 of Cups says she's got all kinds of choices to make. And it could be by sheer coinkydink that when you say you know what, there's all kinds of things I have interest in. I feel like my life is a plethora of choices. And the thing I'm most interested in is I want to take a class in, whatever, underwater basket weaving just for fun. That's something I really want. And that's at the top of my list to go and do right now. Hey, the person she meets in her underwater basket weaving class could become the love of her life. Sometimes when we choose a path that's right for us, for whatever it is that we want to explore, that's when it kind of, not only are we happy because we're doing something we genuinely wanted to do, but sometimes that's when we meet people that complement our life as well. Meeting somebody when you are living the life that you actually want and they happen to be living a similar life, it makes sense that could be like a lot that two people would have in common. If you're somebody who doesn't like drinking, doesn't like dancing, isn't a fan of like a bar scene with a lot of people, but you force yourself to go out to a bar to try to go meet people, it doesn't mean that somebody else in that room couldn't be just like you, but maybe the likelihood is that there's a lot more extroverted alcoholics in that bar. So if you match with somebody and go, yay, I found my person. Oh, but every single night they want to go out and party. And that is so not what I want. I mean, they can be a great person, but we're not a good match because I went looking for them in a lifestyle that I don't even like. I'm not saying that's the rule. Okay. There are extroverts, introverts. I'm an introvert. People don't know that about me. I am not an extrovert. And yet I can be, I can cloak myself as one of them, and I can go into public places and I'm fine. And I socialize and all that, but internally I'm still somebody who needs more quiet time than anything. So it doesn't mean that you can't meet somebody, whatever environment you're in, even if it's not your preferred environment. I don't want to be too strict about that, but for her, just as things are falling into place when she's doing things that she loves, some goals she set for herself, something she wants to do. By the way, her hair is really long, so I'm thinking that it's been a goal she's wanted to go after for a long time, but that's when she finds something that is not only fulfilling, but she may also find someone that is a real match for her. That's an Italy card for me also, so I don't know if somebody is going to be some hunky Italian or what, but it looks hot. Next up, here we go. Space Cake. Hi, babe. Living room, everyone. Good to see everybody. All right, we have got Temperance. Temperance upright is the energy of Sagittarius, and we've got this masculine. He's, I don't know. He seems like somebody's angel is guiding them, and they don't even know it. Okay, Six of Pentacles. We've had a bit of a drama. And I say that because we literally have people on a stage. And I almost feel like their angels are trying to send a message to a character. Hang on, I need one more. If the angels are trying to send a message to help characters smooth out some kind of a drama, something where it's, because I'm hearing like, oh, you offend me, sir. Sometimes things get really theatrical. If there had been an argument or something between two people who actually care about each other, the angels are trying to say, hey, listen, find the common ground. We got a Three of Pentacles. Get a mediator involved. Talk to a third person to help smooth things out. This does not feel romantic related. This feels like in conflict in the workplace, in conflict in, family, people who we work well with, but don't, and we may have an emotional attachment to them, but primarily it's like we need to work smoothly together. And we've been in some kind of disharmony, but we need to get back to harmony. It says each character has to remember that they bring something different and special to the scenario. And if they can do that, or if we can have a mediator in between to point out like, hey, listen, your skills and talents are this and you shine there. And your skills and talents are in this and you shine over here. The two of you are complements, not adversaries. I don't know. It just feels like we've got kind of a breakdown in communication between two people who typically are good together, but we got to restore that balance. And it just seems like the quickest way is to bring in a third voice. And the angel is like nudging that, saying, hang on now, hang on. Don't ever compare what you're doing to somebody else's. There's hard stuff in what they do. There's hard stuff in what you do. But there's also completely different, everybody has a different aptitude for something, a different skill set for something, and a different thing that makes them so uniquely valuable. So I don't know, this feels like a, I think this is going to get smoothed out pretty fast, but maybe both people need to feel a little bit more cherished by whomever the third person is. Maybe it's a boss has not been like making sure that everybody feels respected, and it's like everybody needs to know that what they're doing is appreciated. So I wonder if this is more the lesson for whomever the boss is, not for our character and this other individual. Sometimes people don't pay enough attention. Next up, here we go. Sierra, hi, honey. Let's grab you one now, babe. We have got the Six of Cups. Six of Cups energy is all about joyful soulmates. We literally have our lobsters coming together, the person I mate for life with. We have these two like celebrating with their little claws at the sun, doing the dance. We have the devil. I'm getting the Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead song from Wizard of Oz right now. It just feels like lovers coming back together are able to finally talk about the things that were wrong in the past that could have kept them apart. And that thing doesn't keep them apart anymore. It could have been fear. It could have been, the timing was wrong. It could have been, because the devil can be lots and lots to do with fear as far as like giving their hearts to each other. It just wasn't the right time for us, but it is now. It's like I always cared about you, but I was so scared to open up before, and that's the thing, if we're going to let something fade away, something die, it's let fear be the thing that fades out of our life so that we can move on and have our best life. And that's kind of what it feels like. I bottled up all my emotions. I bottled up my heart because I was scared to open up. Finally, two people are like ready to be direct. They're ready to communicate. They're ready to put out there, how they feel about each other. So it's really nice to see that, especially for these two characters, because they need to be able to get to the point of, expressing themselves. I love that for them. All right, guys. RT, hi, honey. Let me grab you one. So great to see you, babe. RT, I said I was doing one card pulls. It's shifted over to two because I can't seem to get a story out of just one. We have Page of Cups. We have Page of Swords, but in the reverse. This looks like we got a confession. We got somebody who has maybe thought about this for a very long time. This is somebody who, no matter what age they are, how grown up they are, they seem to be shrunken down to like the most humble version of themselves. And it's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what took me so long to say this. I don't know if this person has any great speech prepared. It might just be at that real nugget here, which is, I'm so sorry that I said or did something, that I behaved a certain way. And I feel like this is like donkey ears. I know it's not necessarily supposed to be, but I'm seeing donkey ears. Like, I'm sorry, I was such an ass. This is somebody who has known this for a while. They didn't need to go learn about it. They didn't need to go sit back and, twiddle their thumbs and come to some awakening in their higher self. They knew that they were an ass before. They don't need any more thought process about it. This is like somebody saying, nothing else matters. I didn't behave the way I should have. I'm the person who wants to say sorry to you. And it's not about like, you don't have to give me passes. You don't have to give me a like, oh, that's okay. It's probably because such and such. No, I don't need any explanations to wash away the way I behaved. The bottom line is I want to apologize. And you know what? That's nice when a character can actually just own their mistakes. They're not giving themselves a pass. They're not looking for a pass. They just want to convey something so important. I love the fact that they stripped it down to something very sincere, very real. You guys, so good to see everybody. Blue Star, thank you for being here. Let me grab you one right now. Hi, Sandy. I'll get to you in just a minute, babe. All right, Blue Star, we have a Three of Wands in the reverse. Let me grab you one more. That Three of Wands in the reverse is somebody who's saying, well, I'm not going there. I can't do that. But then we have an Eight of Cups. This is, I'm not sticking around. I'm out. Peace out. I'm going through this door and I ain't coming back. I don't need to keep working it out. I don't need to keep trying to figure out how it's going to go. I'm done. No more choppy waters. No more like, oh, maybe I'll give it another couple weeks. I'll give it a couple months. I feel like this is a masculine who's finally done trying to stay in a place that he doesn't belong. He knows he's got somewhere else he needs to be. He needs to go. So time to time to actually do that instead. Both times we see him, or we see his back. So he already knows what he's looking out to, and it's something beautiful and sunlit. I I don't know why, but I get this really strong impression that this is a character who is known for a long time, where he should have pursued, where he should have, tried to like invest. And this could be somebody who's going to be making a U-turn. Look, I don't have any reason for this. It just feels like this is somebody who has always thought about the road not taken, the missed opportunity, the one that got away. It seems like he's about to make a U-turn for the life he wished he had invested in, or like I say, the one that got away. So I see a U-turn on the horizon for him, but and it's like it's in the now. Like he can't keep waiting on this. He can't keep wondering about this. So I see him going for it. Good for him for doing what seems to be more right for him. Sandy, here we go. Sandy, my dear, we have got a Six of Swords. We have the Hanged Man. Six of Swords is moving forward, moving, with a smoother, calmer energy. Hanged Man is about pausing, looking at things from a different lens, reversing one's thoughts. So this is an interesting card, though, because we actually see like this looking glass or mirror with an inverted heart down at the bottom. And it kind of looks like somebody is finally able to start asking themselves, like looking in the mirror. This could be a Pisces, and only because it's Hanged Man. Maybe it's a masculine. It does not have to be. This is about the compass of their life. My impression, because we do have the lighthouse, is that this is somebody who has kind of not given their heart. They should have, and they didn't. They stayed single, solo, isolated themselves, maybe stayed away from what they wanted, the people that they wanted, the love that they wish they had offered. And they're finally asking themselves, why did I choose to do that? Why have I always set my course, to be solo? And I think they're understanding an answer as they look in the mirror. This is somebody who had demons. Like they were running from something. They couldn't be a good partner to somebody until they could first like be at peace in themselves. And even now they're still just getting to know themselves. They took a peek once upon a time, because we have this cobweb here over the mirror, and it's like they took a peek at themselves once upon a time and they were not ready to deal with that. They're just now, like, I almost feel like this is somebody who's finally got, their identity, and they finally have healed some traumas in themselves, and they finally are ready to start now addressing not traumas from their past anymore, but their present life, and learning about who they are today, the identity that they want to have today, and then how they might want to move forward and offer their heart to somebody. It feels like we're getting the explanation as to why someone may have stayed away. Even if they loved another person, they wouldn't have been somebody's partner because they were so lost in past traumas, and that had to be dealt with first. Then they have to start looking at their own face in the mirror, and then consider, who they want to be now, and then consider, especially about love. It just feels like this is like a multi-phase process for possibly a masculine to learn about himself, but he's getting there. He's getting there. So lots of growth for this character, which is that alone is so sweet to see. It's really nice to see. Hi, Deb. Let me grab you one. And Marina, I'll get you right after Deb. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Oh, Sandy, it's my pleasure, babe. We have the Star. We have the Nine of Cups. Okay, Deb, we have got the energy of Aquarius. First off, we have this feminine who's obviously, even while she's at work, even as she's doing things, she's always multitasking. She may be a star seed. She may have something unique about her, some unexpected additional, like there's all these roses blooming from her hair as well. And the sacred geometry sky chart is hovering above her everywhere she goes. I'm going to say she has a unique mindset, the things that she can multitask on, the ideas that she has. It's like a very sophisticated thinker. There's something very unique about this feminine. She can extrapolate and see things way into the future. I mean, maybe she is somebody who can, maybe she has telepathy, maybe she has some kind of like psychic ability, but there's more that goes on in her mind than most. And in a beautiful way, she's very unique. She has definitely got the eye of whomever he is. Now, he wears his turban, kind of like like the Swami hat, somebody always is like wearing the magical turban with the third eye on it, for like a Halloween costume or something, or like think of oh gosh, what's his name? I have like multiples of it and I can't think right now. The thing from Big, Zoltar. I'm picturing that right now. Maybe we actually have two people, both of whom are quite special, both of whom have a certain like extra level of like sixth sense, or the gift of the third eye, being able to recognize something very very unique about their thought patterns or about how they can perceive the world around them. And I don't know why I get that, but he's like been hiding most of his life, his own powerful third eye. And yet he's like, oh, I know what I'm seeing in her, that there's something about her that I know how she operates because I operate the same way. He is delighted. He is thrilled to know her, to know about her. He may not have made a move into her life just yet, but there's something like her other half or somebody that will resonate very, very well with her is out there and is, a kind of a connected to her, even though I don't think she's aware of it. There is somebody very, very special that already thinks she is a delight, and just knowing she exists makes him very happy. But I don't see this just staying like, I randomly am happy to see this person or to see that she posts cool stuff online. Like, I would say he's going to be gravitating toward her because like attracts like. But it looks like it could be a nice surprise for her. That was a fun one. I so enjoyed that character. All right. Marina, here we go. Sorry, guys. I have to watch my mouth because when I say stuff, I have to remember it. And when I get into little stories, my brain goes away. All right, Marina, here we go. That previous one was for Deb. All right, we have 4 of Swords. We have 5 of Wands. Okay. Hi, Shalita. I'll get to you in a minute, babe. 4 of Swords, 5 of Wands. I don't love it. But I don't love it because it sucks to be him right now. But maybe this is a very necessary, growth moment for a masculine. He's sitting here in like the ugly chair. He's going through all kinds of healing, but the healing seems to be more to download acknowledgement of information that maybe he hadn't been willing to absorb. Sometimes we prevent ourselves from healing because we stay bitter, we stay focused on like, no, these people did me wrong, that's how I'm going to think of it. That lover, he hurt me, he hurt me, it's her fault, it's his fault. And then when we finally get to some point where we stop telling ourselves that message, is where we realize, oh crap, I actually created the scenario. They didn't hurt me by walking away. They had to walk away because I was creating a scenario where they had to walk away. So I got to heal from basically learning the truth, because this is all lightning strikes coming to him. And it's kind of a painful truth, but it's also going to heal him. It's going to help him to heal at a deeper level, but he's going to have to think about this a lot. This is a masculine who is starting to take some kind of, I'm going to say, accountability for their role in their own unhappiness and misfortune. And they're digesting this. And so it's going to be a big benefit to them. But that first awareness of, wait a second, was I the asshole? Oh my God, I was the asshole. Like, that's a big breakthrough, and not a comfortable breakthrough, but so beneficial, because it really starts him like gathering his thoughts, analyzing things in a different way. And that's going to help him to heal at a deeper level. We kind of have to first have the moment of self-reflection to know when it was like, oh, that was a me issue. That wasn't a them issue. That was a me issue. Okay, let me process this differently than what I had, because that changes everything. I was the villain. That's the way that comes across. So SLH, hi babe. I will get you up later on tonight. I'll be doing it in this video for you, but yours will be timestamped for you at the end, babe. You're so sweet, SLH. I think I'm quite sassy enough. I think there's limits to how much sass that I'm going to dish to any character. You're so cute, though. Thank you for accepting me. You're so kind. And SLH, I'll get to yours in the last half hour here, but you can check into this video anytime you want, because it will be time stamped. Okay. So I just didn't want to keep you guys waiting, but I wanted to make sure that I said a proper thank you to you guys from last night. And so I thought this would be nicer to have it time stamped, so you don't have to wonder if you're going to get one. All right. Next up, Chalita. Here we go, honey. Chalita in Chicago. We've got 7 of Pentacles. We have Knight of Cups. He's been thinking about this for a long time. I wonder if this is a character. Obviously, it looks like the same character, right? But I wonder if he's taken a long time to grow to the point where he actually wants to try romance and like relationship. Now, this is somebody who might have previously been a different knight. Perhaps he was a knight of wands. It's like, oh, I'm not looking for anything lasting, because he's still in a growth phase of his own life. Because the Seven of Pentacles says it's been a long time that I've been planting seeds. Things in my life have been growing, I've been exploring. But now the Seven of Pentacles says I'm finally at the harvest moment. And for him, the harvest moment is I'm ready to pursue something that I want from my heart space. My emotions are involved now, which would indicate his emotions were not involved previously. And because it seems like he could have been investing in more tangible things. I was too busy with career. I was too busy with other things. I wasn't thinking about giving my emotions front and center billing. So this could be a man who's built like a bit of a legacy for himself. He's built a business for himself. He's gotten his money sorted out. But at the same time, he needed to do all that. But now he's looking at his life saying, hold up, I'm ready for emotion now. I'm ready for love. I'm ready to give something that I did not give previously. So, I think it's good to see him in this more mature phase. However, as far as maturity goes, he is still just a knight, meaning he's about to approach somebody, so he's an action taker. It feels sincere, but I would not, even though we don't see the rest of the side of this story, it to me speaks of somebody who may have been immature in the past. Maybe they only wanted to hit it and quit it, and now they actually are coming back around saying, hey, I'm ready for to date now. And that could be welcome, or they look like they're in a pretty decent energy, but depending on what happened in the past, if this is somebody from the past, I don't know. A character might have to decide whether or not they're mature enough, or whether or not they're going to allow this masculine in to offer something else. And that, hey, good luck to them. Maybe they can win that character back, and maybe not. Thank you guys so much for being here. Virgo Goddess, hi babe, let me grab you one. All right, we have got the Seven of Pentacles. Let me get another one here. I know I said one card, but I can't do one. We have to do two. And yes, we are still doing this for like another half hour-ish. And then I'm going to use the last half hour for the group of people that I promised to yesterday. We have Three of Pentacles and Seven of Pentacles. So we have to point out all the images of love on this. So we have a Cupid. We have the King of Hearts card here. And we kind of see this feminine as our prominent figure both times. So I feel like it's her story. What I don't love about this is that it feels like somebody came rushing in, gave love, behaved as if they were a King of Hearts. She probably was captivated. We see her barefoot. So there's a certain amount of like, oh, I just like came freely, honestly, openly, I wasn't coy, I wasn't fronting, I was just myself, and I loved this person, and I could see that we could really build something, and I was under the impression that that's what they wanted too. And now that's on her mind, like he's going to come racing in on his white stallion with his red cape behind him, and this lives in her mind now. But it's been a long time coming with the Seven of Pentacles. The reason I don't love it is because, is this correct? Is this true? As long as it's correct and true, awesome. Or did she start to wait for somebody who gave the signals that this is who they were, but why has she kept waiting? I don't love this. I want one more, because I don't know if she is one of those like really beautiful, trusting souls. See, Seven of Cups is sideways. She's starting to wonder the same thing. Look, he has her on his mind, no matter where he is. He does wear his suit of armor, but it's her face that emerges from his shield. And he's left kind of like thinking all about her. This is a tough place to be, because I feel like on one hand, yes, he has emotions for her, but he doesn't really seem to be getting up off his duff and coming in, certainly not as, somebody riding his white steed. Instead, he's sitting here twiddling thumbs. So I kind of wonder, although she is heavy on his mind, I don't think he's earned that favorable an opinion that she has of him. I definitely don't see him as a King of Hearts. I see him possibly could be that. But it feels like she's starting to wonder the same thing. Like, if it's been this long and I really haven't seen him make much of a move, maybe he's not all that in a bag of chips. And yet here he is sitting here lost in thoughts about her. Like, I really like her. God, she's on my mind all the time. But it just kind of feels like definitely was premature to give him the title of king, because kings are decisive. Kings know what they want. They make their intentions. And even if it's like, look, I want to date you. This is, I'm going to be gone. I'm on deployment. I'm, whatever, but I'm coming back. Can we stay in touch? Like, he would make his intentions known. And I feel like this has been, she gave him plenty of time to make a move. And he's still sitting here kind of like, man, I daydream about her a lot. But I don't see him as a king. And I think she's starting to catch on to that too. Doesn't mean he's a villain? No. Doesn't mean that he can't become a king? No. Maybe he needed to meet her and have her more or less get fed up with the fact that he's doing nothing. And then maybe he'll get a fire lit under his bum and be like, what the hell am I doing? She's amazing. I don't want to squander this opportunity. But it could also just be that he's not secure enough yet, or he's not, grown up enough yet, or just not prepared yet. But I think that's kind of where she's at too. Like, I don't think he's quite there. All right, let's see. Here we go. Cherry Bomb. Hi, let me grab you one. Sleep Princess, hang in there. I'll get you next. Did I say that to anybody and forgot? Hang on. I think the last person I had said that to, I did get to, and that was Chalita in Chicago. Sorry, guys. My brain I get lost in the stories. I could probably remember 15 names in a row, as long as all I had to do was then repeat people's names. But when I say a name and then I go do a story, I get invested in the characters. And then I come back and I go, crap, who was the next person's name I was going to get to? So forgive me that my poor little brain shorts out. Slay Princess, I just wrote you down. You'll be after this, okay? But we've got the Two of Pentacles upright. Two of Pentacles is, we don't usually see two people standing there looking in the same direction, but we do here. With the Chariot coming up, which is Cancerian energy, there's a ton of emotion, right? This is two people that I think are going to work things out. Two of Pentacles can be like we're juggling. The Chariot can be I'm coming towards somebody or I'm leaving. But I would look at this because they're both standing side by side, dressed in the same, like weather appropriate outfits. They're standing side by side, holding hands, looking in the same direction, and allowing this either dialogue to push them forward. They're talking about how they both see the future. They are connecting and they are planning something about how they want things to go. But I think that they're both in the same mindset, heart set. This is two people working it out. And I definitely feel like, this is Year of the Horse. Obviously, we've got one horse pulling it forward. It's like two people looking in the same direction. What's a quote? It's famous from one of our Greek philosophers. Like love is two people standing together, gazing in the same direction. It feels like that. Like they're riding in the same chariot now. I like this. I like this for these two. I think that they're lovers. I think that they're a really great pairing. Deb, yes, this is my doggy. When he was a little baby, this is right before he became mine. And when he was still being weaned, he came from a ranch, and so the woman, the rancher, took a baby picture for me, before he was weaned, and I could officially come get him. And I was like, oh my God, I was so in love with him. And this was the day that I got him. This is my first. He literally kissed my face the day that I got him and picked him up in my arms. And I was like, oh my God, it was like a cartoon. All right, Slate Princess, here we go. Sorry, it's happy memories for me. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Queen of Wands. Ooh, Slate Princess, this is nice. We have got a very sexy, I feel like, I don't know if our character is an early riser or if there's going to be something really particularly awesome. I'm hearing the song I'm Walking on Sunshine. It feels like a very gorgeous, very sexy, very colorful. So I was raised with chickens. Okay. So first off, you have to remember this bit. I like chickens. I was raised with a flock of 200. We have all different breeds, and the chickens that are some of the most beautiful, some of them hail back to the more free, like jungle plumage of chickens that are like the earlier ancestors. And she has, although she looks more like a golden like Brahma maybe to me, she has this beautiful plumage also. So, by the way, those are some of my favorite chickens. But we blend it with this wild streak that hails back to another time frame of chickens, the chicken ancestors that are sort of still more wild, that have more beautiful plumage. And so I'm just mentioning that because this is a character who has like, as like a, well, Brahmas or Buff Orpington maybe, but those are chickens that tend to be like just a little bit more, I don't know, they're really nice to be around, chickens. They've got a much nicer temperament, and they're larger chickens also, and they just kind of, there's something like regal about them to me. But then we add in the wild streak. So I feel like we have a, sorry to talk about Queen of Wands like she's a chicken. But again, I appreciate chickens, so please take that as a compliment when I'm talking about this character. They have like a really lovely, powerful presence, but also like they can get wild and funky and free. And, there's something else that is unexpected. This character always has something unexpected. They're eye-catching, and she's going to be particularly eye-catching. I don't know if this is going to be at some kind of social gathering, social event, or if she's going off on a date or a, job interview or something in the early morning, but she's going to look really, really, really good that day. And there is some kind of like, there's more than just one person turning and noticing. This could be a birthday party. We do see this little birthday cake here, and obviously it's a nice setting. It could feel like it's her birthday just because she could be gifted a lot of compliments. She could be gifted a lot of attention. But this is a happy like moment of coming together. But I'm going to just say she dominates this event, this moment, this job interview, this meeting. People are going to talk about her, what she wore. There's some kind of vibration that comes off of her where it's like, okay, the queen has landed. Like, it's going to be a very notable thing. She's got a reputation that is being built from that moment onward that is like, that's a class act feminine. So I don't know what this is other than it's some event that really is like, maybe this is her rise to fame. Maybe this is her viral moment, whatever it is. Hell yeah, good for her. I love that character. I love the imagery on that. So sorry, I went off on a tangent. Starla Ray, oh my God, thank you so much, babe. That was so sweet. Thank you. Let me grab you one. Hi, guys. Nice to see everybody. We have got the Chariot upright. So good to see you guys. Chariot, we have King of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so somebody's moving away from a very, in this case, oppressive energy. A King of Wands in the reverse, not fun. They're not polite. They're not easy to be around. They're rude. They can be demanding. They can be selfish. They want everything that they want, and they want it for themselves. And it's like, peace out. I'm done dealing with people like that this year. So strong Cancerian energy, moving away from possibly a fire sign. But I think of it in a bigger context. Like, I don't deal with people's egos anymore. I don't have to put up with people who want their ego to be boosted. I don't engage with people that they've got this agenda, or they feel entitled to, mouth off or, be rude. I don't deal with that. It just feels like somebody's year, the year of the horse, is getting really simplified because they've basically said, yep, this is where my boundary is. This is full stop. This is where I don't deal with any more of this. And I think it's great to see a character that is so confidently moving on. Their life, I think, is going to get instrumentally better. So much, much more powerful. Hi, guys. Jay Gentry, let me get you one right now, hun. We have got the Knight of Swords upright. We've got the Seven of Crystals. Super high vibrational. This feels like we may have a masculine and feminine that are encountering each other. They could both be very much like earthy people, right? He's out in nature, riding his bike around some kind of mountains that could be really important, like spiritually. She's over here with, all of her crystals for sale. It could be that the two of them are going to be drawn together over like an earth type related topic that they both enjoy. It feels like She moves slow, he moves fast, but I think it's almost because he's going to have to hurry up so he doesn't miss his chance to talk to her. I don't know if she is actually somebody who's like, working an event or has a business or something, but he may be rushing to pop into her life on just the right moment. There could be something significant. We're coming up to a really, speaking of significant, what is it, the ninth? We will have, if you look up in the night sky, you can already see it really clearly, but you can see Jupiter and Venus, and on the ninth, they'll be so close together, they're going to look like one fat star. And I don't know if this is like the alignment, like two people are going to be in the same place at the same time. And he's like, I am going to, rush over before this thing is over so that I can go talk to her. I'm going to hurry it up and go talk to her. There's something about the need for speed on his part, but there's also like a thrill to this. I think that their energies are going to be complementary, even though maybe he should have already approached her. Maybe this is a little bit late. Maybe if he wants to say something to her or ask her out or something, he probably should have already like hurried up and made that a priority. But for some reason, it's just now his opportunity. But he is going to be beating his feet to get there as fast as possible. So maybe a long time coming, but thank goodness it's finally come around. So that's nice to see. Ms. Midnight. Hi, honey. Let me grab you one. All right, here we go. Hi, Agri. I get to you next, babe. Oh, Jay Gentry, that's so amazing. I love that. Agri, I just wrote down your name so I don't mistake. And did I also see, I think I saw Marikai also. Marikai, I will get you after Agri, okay? We have Knight of Swords. We have Three of Cups, Ms. Midnight. And you have Aries singing you a song. That Knight of Swords, I love this because this guy is dressed in kind of like a Spanish mariachi outfit, which to me is one of the hottest outfits ever for a man to wear. I love mariachi. I think they look so freaking good. But it also brings me to a song by Macklemore where he was dressed in a mariachi outfit, and I love Macklemore, and I cannot for the life of me think of what the song is right now, and I listen to it so much, and it's out of my mind. But in any case, and in that, I think he's shooting a bow and arrow in that music video. So I don't know, but we have this eagle who obviously has really good vision. We may have a masculine who he could have a certain amount of pride. He could hail from a Latin or Latin American heritage. I mean, the symbol of the eagle is oftentimes, obviously associated with the United States. We have a decidedly southwestern region, so maybe this gives us a location, but he's ready to make a decision, right? He's making a decision. He wants to go to a nice restaurant. He wants to have some kind of a date. This is somebody who I think they want to prove that they have something to offer, that they are chivalrous, that they are somebody who can, like, I don't know, I feel like they want to woo, to wine and dine somebody. I don't know if this is going to be a restaurant that serves really great seafood, or specifically there's like a certain amount of like, it's like a tropical saltwater fish tank here, which can be very expensive fish and a lot of expensive upkeep to do such highly specialized things. But it's like, he's made this decision. I want to hurry up and prove that I have something unique, like notice me. I don't know if it's like I want to spend a ton of money so somebody thinks I'm rich so then they'll want to date me, but it's like I want to show you that I'm a cut above, that I have something awesome to offer, and I want your eyes to see that in me. So I'm going to do something that's going to show you this is how I treat you. This is what I have to offer. It does feel like it could be a little bit of an ego thing, but it's an intentional, like I want to show you this is how it would be if you're in my world. I think, honestly, it feels nice. It feels like somebody who just wants to treat another person really, really well. And so, yes, White Walls, thank you. Ms. Midnight, I love that song. I Want to Be Free. I love that song so much. I'm rolling that roof off, letting in sky. I swear the city never looks so good. Sorry, that song is running through my head now. All right, next up, Agri. Here we go, love. Miss Midnight, thank you. And thanks so much. You guys are so patient with me. Agri, here we go. We have a Queen of Swords. We have the Chariot. And we have the Death card. Death card shows this connection to, I'll say, either the version of ourselves that we used to be. This looks like the story of possibly a feminine who has found their true identity. Her boundaries are where she wants them. Her, concept of how she wants her life to go, where she doesn't want to tolerate things anymore. And this is like the universe is, following her with this halo of flowers saying, you're making good choices. You're growing in the right direction all the time because you stood up for yourself. You stood up for your boundaries. You're expressing who you really are. And in particular, this could be this character's year. Like, this is the year that I don't play small. I don't let other people stomp on me. I move away from things. I don't have to keep giving to people that maybe are not really individuals that I should be investing my time and energy in. It doesn't mean she's stingy or anything like that, but she's thoughtful about who she lets in, who she gives too much of her energy to. And she's realizing, I've changed a lot. There's a big transformation in who I am. This new version of me is kind of maybe the updated version. And I think it's really good because our character needed to make this transformation. And I just because of the ghost, it makes me think, the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. I personally am not religious. I'm very respectful of all, religious beliefs. And heck, I've gone when I was in Rome, gone to see Pope John Paul, and it was amazing. It was such a great experience. But I'm not Catholic. It's just, I think that you can understand things and still not necessarily feel like you have to participate. But this character, for whatever it is, they may feel very spiritual right now, or they may have found something where it's like, I have found my spiritual identity, or I'm able to be like, I do believe that I feel guided toward a better life and protected by my angels. Whatever it is for this character, their life and their choices seem to keep making improvements in their day-to-day life. And I think that they know now they're supposed to have a blessed life. And part of it begins with, you must choose to hold the reins and walk away from things that are not good for you. The reason we have big, beautiful brains, or, our creator gifted us with brains, is so that we can rationally think things out, and we can, determine, even in tough situations, like where to draw boundaries and what to stay away from, so that we can actually honor our lives and live a really good life. I think it's nice. I think it's an empowerment message on that for sure. But I love our character. I love the sense of peace that I got from that. All right. And Marikai, thank you for your patience. Here we go, babe. We have got the King of Pentacles and we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So, sorry, guys. King of Pentacles is obviously somebody who's carrying all their belongings, but he seems to be either new to town or he's new to her. She's been hard at work. She kind of buries herself in work, has been for a long time, because we see all these, branches around her. She may be somebody who keeps to herself a bit, works from home, focuses on things that keep her kind of like, honestly, comes across like an earth sign. So sometimes earth signs, they get really highly focused on, the things that they are giving their energy to. Rach, thank you so much. I'll get you right after this, babe. Sorry to keep you waiting. But it's interesting because how they always say, well, if you want to meet somebody, they're not going to just show up on your doorstep. In this one instance, she might be busy working all the time, not paying much attention, but he could be the new guy that moves in next door. And it's like, how crazy. I thought everybody always said, you're not going to meet somebody if all you do is work. And it's like, but they forget, if somebody moves in next door and I meet them as I'm leaving to go to work, at a weird time, and they're still busy packing or unpacking their U-Haul, sometimes you do meet somebody in the driveway, and it's like, I didn't really have to go that far. I can be hardworking and still meet somebody who's a match for me. It just keeps feeling like he's the one, obviously with his head up, noticing, he's the one moving things in to her life. And she's the one who's been far more focused on developing things in her life, building things. These two could be a beautiful complement to each other, but it does feel like they could both be workaholics. Maybe he's going to be particularly good for her because he's like, look, I've already like made, quite a comfortable, like, nest egg for myself or something. And that could be good to have somebody like him who's just as driven as her, but also maybe knows how to work life balance. He may draw her out of just that work mentality all the time. But it kind of looks like we're just seeing what could be a great duo. But yes, they could bond over something like work first. But I feel like they are of similar minds, but then can maybe create some nice balance between the two of them. I think that's sweet that he has to like show up in her world because she's too busy working otherwise. But it's nice to see that that could still all click. Rachel, thank you, Angel. Let me go ahead and get you a cherry bomb. I'll get you right after this, babe. We have the moon. We have the Nine of Swords, Rachel. Okay, so the moon is Piscean energy. I don't know if we have a feminine who has been having all kinds of dreamscape imagery. Now, she may sometimes have bad dreams or she's had nightmares, but I know she's here in her bed, but in the middle of this open field. I almost think that her, on the dreamscape, she actually is getting better messages. And in her daydreamscape is when she's more stressed. Almost like there's a good message is trying to break through for her subconscious, but she's more fretting and worrying about something or just feeling sorrow. There's a lot of times when we focus on, a heartbreak, or we focus on the things that weren't going well and it hurts. And, like that becomes like our waking daydream / nightmare. And yet, if we were to dissect what is coming through in the subconscious realm or in the astral realm, this is much more peaceful, right? We have the wolf and the dog both howling, both trying to like have her look closer, look up at the moon here, look at the subconscious. The subconscious has a good message for her, something I think to give her comfort, something that is like, sweetie, you're on the horizon. We have like this river flowing through, and it's like whatever she's been going through that is really tough, this is but a moment. And that doesn't make it easier to bear, of course not. But the river of life is, it's going to continue to flow. And something that was painful, something that was stressful is going to fade out, and it's going to be replaced by something that is much more uplifting, much more soothing, healing, much more enjoyable. And that river will kind of like take her tears away. There's something much more loyal, much more lasting on the horizon. And also with this enjoyable, like wild nature that comes into her life. But she kind of has to, she knows this. This is a moment of stress that will fade, and something better is going to be replacing it. The river of life is taking something out of her world, but it will also bring something better in. I think deep down she knows it, but she hasn't seen evidence of it yet. And it's only buried in the subconscious. But the subconscious is trying to tell her this. But it's tough when it's a really hard moment. But I love the gentle reassurance here that there's something so much better that's going to replace whatever has hurt her. And I hope that it hurries up. I always hope that our character, gets to the good point a lot faster. But Dana, hi hon, let me grab you one. So good to see you. You're so sweet. Let's get you right now, babe. We have got the Two of Pentacles upright. And we've got the Nine of Wands. Okay, we got somebody over here who's all stressy. I don't know who this character is, but they seem to be like almost as a little bit of a golem creature who's over here watching somebody else make balance occur in their life. My impression is this could be an ex who is still scared to reapproach. They're seeing whomever our lead character is in the top hat balance their life out. The juggling a lot is probably a hardworking character. Our central figure is hardworking. They're juggling things. They're making their life balance. They come across as, empowered and successful. And we do have somebody over here who is spying, who's like, I wish I could come forward and be a part of that balance. But they obviously saw some scars and wounds. And there's this hesitancy. You notice how they're like gripping onto this little post, holding onto it for dear life. Whomever this is, they could be, maybe they're not an ex, maybe there's somebody who would love to be in our lead character's life, but they're not ready to do that yet. They're still scared, but they're being inspired, or they're longing for the day when they can be much like this. it does take time for characters to build their confidence. Or if this is somebody who wants to come back into this lead character's life, then again, it could take them some time to get that level of, like, okay, let me come forward and say sorry. They're working up the courage and they're pretty close to it, but they got to get to the 10 of Wands before they can do it. So I don't know how much longer it will take them, but I will say their eyes are pretty much glued to our central character. And that's nice to see somebody who's like aware and paying close attention. That's really good to see. Oh, Rach, honey, I already got to you, baby. Did you miss me? Okay, no, you did get to hear it. Thank you so much, honey. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. I was like, wait a second. No, I know I got to you. Thank you. That was very kind. All right, let me go ahead and continue on. Amazing Life 17. You're so sweet. Thank you. Here we go. We have got 4 of Wands. We have 9 of Wands. 4 of Wands energy is balance, life, marriage, happiness. The 9 of Wands does say that we have a feminine who is like, she sees it for herself, but she's not quite ready to embrace it yet. But something has, let's just say, I don't know if she's recently seen a friend or a family member or seen, like somebody else achieve something that made their life really blossom and they're really happy. And she's looking at it going, that's going to be mine too. I'm going to have something like that for myself also. I can see, I've seen a good example of what love looks like, happiness looks like, good relationships look like. I've seen a great example of that. And I'm going to be able to do that. This will be, I will pattern my own life like that as well. I have to heal just a little bit more first, but I've already got my sights set on like my dream, my wish, my intentions. And I think that this feels like a character who, sometimes we can get really down on life, down on love because we've been hurt. And for a while, it's like, man, I don't see anybody having such success. And it can be kind of something that we know, like, I don't want to get soured on stuff. This is, the indicator to me that I got to heal. But then we see somebody who is really happy and it's like, oh man, I'm so thrilled. They just totally restored my faith in this process. And I know I will be back and, to myself and my more optimistic, healed version of me. And then I'm going to have all those beautiful things. I love this because our character, she's got her intention set, her mind is set. And I think she's going to get onto this track very, very swiftly now. I think that the final, like threads of her healing are going to come together really, really quickly. And then bam, she's there. She's ready to go ahead and have this romance, this life. I love it for her. I love the happiness that we see there. I love all of that for her and the intention. This is a powerful character who's just like, she's zeroing in. It's like, okay, I'm going to have that. It's so nice to see. All right, you guys, let's go. Jen Sutton, you're so cute. I know I have a lot of pictures of Aries. My old phone is broken, and I have hundreds of video clips of Aries as a baby, and we still haven't figured out how to extricate those videos if it can be done. So it's been kind of a nightmare because I want to upload other, like, especially right about now, I'd love to upload some baby pictures of Aries and baby videos. And I can't access any of them. And it's been really frustrating. It's been going on since my phone broke, almost a month and a half ago now. So it's been really tough because I love my baby videos of Aries. Black Butterfly, thank you so much. I'll get to you in just a second. All right, here we go. Jen, we have got, these two came out together and they came out in the reverse, but we have the Emperor in the reverse and we have the King of Cups in the reverse. Holy moly. Not the greatest of energy, but great to step back and recognize. I feel like our character has a lie detector, like built in, like bullshit meter at this point. I can spot a bad one from a mile away. There are red flags that pop out to me like crazy. People that only say compliments because they want something in return, I can spot that. People that want to be respected, but they really aren't going to do anything to be respectful. People that want power because they need to feel important. I think our character has like I don't know if it's a God-given gift or what, but we have a character who can see through. I mean, in this case, it happens to be two masculines. It doesn't have to be just that I can see through men. It could be like I can see through people's motives really, really clear. And the two that are perhaps the ones I most I'm sensitive to and aware of, because they're the two that I most don't want to deal with, is emotionally manipulative people and power hungry people. And I feel like our character is just so astute at spotting that. It's probably because they have the misfortune of having to deal with people that were like this, and maybe more than once or twice in their life, and they learn those patterns really, really well. But here's the thing, this isn't a character saying like, oh, I hate these people. It's this character saying, I see where their lessons still are. I can spot it, I can see it. And maybe our character is in an environment where they do come across a lot of people that crave power. Let's say, I would argue that there are professions that attract personality types. It doesn't have to be straight across the board, but there can be people, if there's a position where there can be a lot of power, that will attract people who want power for the wrong reason, and that will also attract people that are like, wow, think of what we could do if we utilized this opportunity to better the world. There will be both people that get attracted, but let's be honest, it's going to attract a ton of people that see it as a quick way to get as much power into their hands as they can, and they're exactly the people that they should never be given power. That kind of thing, I think our character could be like very experienced in, and this would be a great person to be like hiring, because it's like, oh, I'm good at sleuthing out who's hungry for power versus who wants to utilize power for the right reasons. But super great gift to possess, even if it was a hard won gift, and that definitely could have been. All right, you guys, I'm just going to do two more, and then I'm going to turn off comments. I'll still be here, but I'm going to be doing the last group from yesterday. So let me just get two more, and then, sorry, guys, and then I'll break for a little bit, and then I'll come back. Queen Cam, let me get you one right now. Thanks for all your patience. Here we go. We got Page of Pentacles, and let me get one more. We have High Priestess sideways. We got powerful moon energy coming off of both of these. We have a feminine who is very attuned to something right now. She knows somebody wants to talk, and she may even know what this person wants to say. There is this, I think she wants to talk to them too. This is usually the first step toward communication. And this has been nagging in the back of her mind for a while. This is probably somebody who's sensing that around that Mercury retrograde that we're headed for, they're going to hear from somebody. And it's like, I can already tell. I can just, they're out there. I can feel them thinking about me, and maybe I'm thinking about them too, but I can feel it. Oh God, I just had a Genesis song pop into my mind. It's driving me crazy. You belong to the city. You belong to the night. That's not Genesis. Living in a city of darkness beneath the neon lights. There's another song, a Phil Collins Genesis song though too, that was in my head first, but then the lyrics came out for that one, and I can't think who sings that. Okay, so strangely, I think both songs, I think it's Something in the Air Tonight is the one that I'm thinking of. And I think both of those songs might have been played in an old episode of Miami Vice, if I remember correctly. My sisters, I have older sisters, and they all watched that when I was a kid. I was like 6, and I just remember I loved the music. And my sisters were all madly in love with both of them. My sisters were split, it was Crockett or Tubbs. They had their, different camps of who they thought was sexiest. And they were just like salivating over these, I never actually watched Miami Vice, but of course I know like the amazingness of what it must have been because my sisters were so into it. But I'm sorry, both those songs come to mind, but both of those songs somehow get connected to Miami Vice for me. And I don't know if that gives us a location or if that somehow is important or if it's just the musical connection. But I'm going to say this. I believe one of those pieces of music was attached to a steamy scene in Miami Vice. So I don't know if deep down there is a steamy desire between two people, and maybe it's not just like we want to talk, but we want to talk at night on purpose, because then maybe we decide to stay the night together. It's something like that. Sorry to add that in if that has no bearing, but I'm quite sure, because I know I got pushed out of the room as a kid and I knew that they were like, this is not a scene for you. I just remember that as a kid. Sorry, I know it's a weird connect the dots, but that's what I got on that. So I feel like there's some underlying passion there. All right. Yes. So, thank you, Jordan Sunshine. Let me grab you one, honey. Thank you so much for that message. Here we go. And I'm going to end Jordan Sunshine, and then I'm going to end with Kristen Holland, and then I'll wrap it up for now. Okay, you guys. So here we go. Jordan Sunshine, you're not going to believe this. No joke. You just got the sun. How awesome was that? Well, it's like you called it in. And then we have the high priestess. So the sun and the moon basically is being represented, beautiful counterparts. This year, it's almost like a character knows darn well that maybe they're going to have a Leo come into their world this year. They know something is blossoming. Yeah, babies represent, new birth, new life. The sun brings about new life. Things thaw out, things get, everything grows in the sun's light. I feel like our character knows that some area of their life is about to be lived more externally. This could be a character who previously was very internal for a period of time, and they already know, like, oh my God, I'm about to be much more external. This feels like, I'm going to connect to other people. I'm going to be interacting with other people. I can feel this sunshiny time of my life coming. It could be that the month of like July, August is going to be particularly fabulous right around Leo season. But you notice where it's like, okay, I'm snuffing out my candle for the inside stuff because I'm not in the dark anymore. I'm going to be stepping out into the light. I'm going to be interacting with others, and it's going to be joyful. And there's somebody that I got to meet during this year of the fire horse. That's really exciting. I feel like this could be love, laughter, a time for, there's a lot of times that we go internal, and then there's times where we're done sitting with ourselves. We need to get out and interact. I love that. All right. And last but not least, Kristen Holland. Here we go, my dear. And as always, guys, I'm sorry. I know I can never get to everybody. I try, but I'm always torn between trying to get all my thoughts put together or trying to go really fast. And I just feel like I would rather do a more thoughtful storyline than just a quick one card. That is too fast for me. We have 5 of Swords. We have King of Cups. So Kristen Holland, 5 of Swords says somebody's mad. He's big mad, but he looks calm, even though he might be big mad. He could be simmering because he lost somebody, or he's wishing why wasn't I the King of Cups? Oh, that song, it should have been me standing there with you. It should have been me and my dreams coming true. But those dreams move on when you wait too long. It took me till now to see that it should have been me. I think it's Billy Ray Cyrus. I'm not sure. It's a country singer. I think it's his voice that I'm hearing. Like a 90s song. It feels like somebody's pissed because it's interesting. He's not mad at like seeing the person that he lost. He's mad at the person who got what he lost. He's mad at the person who's loving and emotionally available. He's mad or jealous because how come I'm not that guy on the horse? Why can't I just express myself? Why do I hold everything in? He might have actually had a lot of loving emotions. Maybe he was too slow to bring them to the front and center. It is likely that if a King of Cups is giving his emotions or will be giving his emotions to somebody soon, our character that receives those emotions may never know that there was somebody else that was like trying to build up to offering them love. It might be something that is suppressed or hidden away. It's just a side note. It's maybe our character will get the vibe. Like I can tell he's pissed. I just don't know where the pissed offness is coming from. And it may be like our character is going to connect the dots and be like, I think that they're jealous, or I think they're mad at themselves, or I think I don't know. It's like they had stuff that they wanted to say that they never said. And they're obviously irritated that this King of Cups is showing me attention. I think our character is going to be able to put the dots together. But I mean, it sucks. It sucks to have that energy, that, frustration directed at somebody, but it is what it is. All right, you guys. Oh my God. Thank you so much. So Juanita, you are beyond generous. Baby, you have been sick. You have been needing to take care of you. And here you are still generous every moment of the day. Thank you so much, honey. That's beyond kind. Listen, I'm going to first off say thank you from Aries' heart to your voice, but I'm going to do a storyline for you and timestamp it for you along with the other names from yesterday. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead, you guys, and I'm going to turn off all the comments now because I'm not taking any more at this point, and I don't want things to get confusing. But I still have a small handful of people that I'll be doing the story for from yesterday. And so, Juanita, you will be added right into that list. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. So very generous, so very kind. And again, I'm so sorry that I can never get to everybody, although I wish that I could. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll still be here. But I'm turning off the chat. And the only way I can turn off the chat is if I do something where it's going to look weird, because it's going to look like I have to set it for parameters for longer than I've even had the channel. So just so you know, that's going to look weird all of a sudden, because I'm going to set it for like 15 years. Only people who've been here for 15 years can comment, which obviously I haven't had this channel for 15 years, but that way I just close the chat without it being hopefully not too confusing. All right, you guys. But anyone who I'm still reading for, which is AC, MOnique, SLH, Yael, Devine, Aliiaonherpath, Duanette, NoorA, Juanita. I just want you guys to know that I'll still be doing yours right now. So if you're out there, you can still watch, or you can check back later when I timestamp it when I'm done. And then I'll probably break for a little bit after this, and then I'll be back for our members videos, and I'll probably put just one collective message out on each channel again tonight as well. Lots of love. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for celebrating my baby boy. Okay, and I'm just going to make a little message here that says, the chat is now closed. The session has ended. Okay. I should probably do one other thing here. Sorry, guys. I'm just setting this so it doesn't confuse anybody else. Okay. There. Okay, now, so everybody that was already with me, you know that we were just live for, I guess, an hour and 40 minutes doing some storytellings just to say hi, baby. Thank you, everybody who hung out with us today, and thank you so much for being a part of Tarot Dog, for being a part of my world. I know you guys have watched him grow up. That was his little tiny baby picture. This is the first day I got him, the first time I ever held him, actually. And then you can see as he started to mature and grow into like a teenager, he was still very puppy-esque here. This is when he still slept on my stomach. But yes, that is my boy. And now he is the gigantic 54-pound, which is big for a blue heeler, but he's my big boy now. Big man dog, as I call him. And he is still very much a puppy, because blue heelers, thank God, live a really, really long time. So 5 is not old at all. My previous blue heeler was 19. And so I think they take the Guinness Book of World Records for longest lived. I think the oldest was 25. So but of course, Aries is just going to always live. And so that's how that's going to be. So anyway, you guys, thank you again for celebrating Aries. And I'm going to get a sip of tea, and then I'm going to bounce into our incredible generosity from everybody, but in particular, you guys, thank you. Those of you that I spoke with yesterday, you know, I said, let me say thank you to you today. So that's what I'm going to turn my attention to now. Okay, so here we go. First off, Juanita, thank you so much from the boys. I hope you keep healing. Thank you for your endless generosity. You're so incredibly kind. We appreciate you not just for your generosity, but for your awesome energy. So thank you very, very much for being a part of this community. All right, I'm going to timestamp it for you. And I'll timestamp these, of course, later on in the comments, so you can come back and find this easily. All right, but let's see, what do we have here? We have got message of Page of Swords upright, Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Tower. Okay, so everything is about motion. Everything is about change, transformation, and everything is about maybe change in direction. We've got kind of like a tip of the hat to like a Marco Polo. We've got the map up here. I'm ready to adventure. The Knight of Swords, sometimes their character I think that they have like a very active mind, and they also have a very passionate heart, and they want to go and do more, see more, explore more. This is somebody vitally alive. And the thing is, they're realizing for the amount of energy and intelligence that they have, they've almost been looking at their life as smaller than what they truly are. This is a character who could do anything. They could become a success in any area of life, any walk of life, whatever they really want. This person is probably a master manifester. They're perhaps starting to realize it about themselves. They are coming into a place where they recognize my whole life could be lived almost anywhere. Maybe this is a character who has some wanderlust, or they just have, like, I could picture this being somebody who has picked up lots of different, interests, hobbies, talents throughout their life. Somebody who is, they like to try different food. They like to listen to different music. They want to expand all the time. Maybe it's because in many past lives, they were always an adventurer. And if anything, in this lifetime, maybe this character is now saying, I get it. I get why I am the way I am. And hot damn, what a gift to be the person that I am. What a gift to be someone who every lifetime has been this fearless adventurer, this heart-centered, intelligent, quick to be able to figure stuff out. I need activities and opportunities to use my amazing energy and skills and thoughts, because that's what I'm meant for. Honestly, I think that this character is recognizing what a gift it is to be in the heart and the mind that they actually have. And I think this is going to make their life more fun, first off. If they ever treated themselves with chagrin, like, God, I wish I could just focus on just one thing and just be happy living in, one lifestyle, or it's like this character was never going to be that person. If this is somebody who's like, I should just settle down with one partner and stay in this one box my whole life, that's fine as long as that's the box that you want. But this character is like, I don't see my life as a box. I see it as like a checkerboard with millions of squares, and I want to zigzag this way, and then I want to make other great ideas and have other plans. I'm a good chess player. I plan out moves this direction, then I move to the left, I zig, I zag, I do the things that I want to experience. I don't want to live my life in one box or have one straight line direction all the time. And I think that this is just such a great time for our character to embrace the essence of who they are. A very powerful character with a beautiful intention, a beautiful heart, and beautiful energy. And I just think that this is them reveling in their talents, their gifts, and owning it now. This is probably a character who is very charismatic. They can probably date pretty much anybody that they want, but maybe they didn't fully embrace that about themselves until now. This is somebody who's fun. This is somebody who probably has great ideas to share, great conversationalist. And they're like, you know what? I do like that about myself. Let me, hold that and say, yeah, that is my identity and I own it. I love that because I feel like this is a character who either was told to play small before, and maybe they actually thought that they should have. And they're like, hell no, I shouldn't. That's not who I am. I'm not small. I'm nationwide. I'm bigger than this. I love our characters' vibe. I love their energy, and I love their embracing of themselves more fully. So beautiful. Thank you again, Juanita. So appreciate you. All right, next up, AC. Here we go, honey. Coming at 147.10. AC, thank you always. You're so incredibly generous, so supportive, so kind. So appreciate you. Thank you, hon. We have got the 5 of Swords. We have the 7 of Swords. Starts out with, I feel like our character had to battle against lies. They maybe had to battle against somebody that was a liar. And I feel like they took the high road because they're up above here. It's like, I'm not even going to do this. I'm going to protect myself from somebody who wants to fight about something that isn't even true. Yeah, not doing that. We have High Priestess in the reverse. We have Ace of Wands in the reverse. It's like, okay, they lied because if I found out the truth, they know I wouldn't have been attracted to them. I wouldn't have wanted them. But do they not know they were dealing with a freaking High Priestess? Of course I can tell. Sometimes we can tell when people lie because they omit stuff. And it's just like, I'm not going to have to sit down and argue with you like a lawyer while you try to find, verbal loopholes. You're lying. I know it. You know it. That's why you're being, hostile about it. I don't know why you think I would be attracted to this energy either. I wouldn't be attracted to somebody who's lying to me. I wouldn't be attracted to somebody who's now trying to weasel around it or getting hostile about it instead of just being straightforward. And I certainly don't like somebody who's insulting the fact that I can tell because it's as plain to me as if you wrote it out on a wall. It feels like our character is just kind of like, I just can't deal with this. I think our character is deeply intuitive, and they're not just intuitive where it's like, I'm gonna accuse somebody of something because I feel it. They're not like that. I think this is a character who genuinely is like, it's really super obvious. Like when little kids do something bad, they have cookies. Like, so did you eat cookies today? No. And you're like, did you eat those cookies that were in that package that was sitting over there? Because I can see there's a little chair that got you up onto the cupboard where the cookies were, and the chair is still there. And I see little smudgies of chocolate fingerprints that are just your size. Are you sure you didn't eat those? No. And it's like, okay, saying no, but all the evidence tells me contrary means you're lying. Now in little kids, you have to teach them like that's not okay. You don't lie. But in grown-ups, they're nothing cute about it. And I just feel like that's how this character is like, you may as well have moved your little chair and had chocolate fingerprints all over the place because you're lying. I can see it. Don't tell me you're not. I just think that our character is just done. And that was very swift. They just moved on. I think our character laid this down and said, they have a problem with the truth, that they need to build that relationship with the truth. And I can't be here while they figure out how to do that. This may not have been any heinous lie. It might have just been, I don't want to argue with somebody who just can't be honest. Yeah. Seven of Pentacles. I think our character's life got immediately more peaceful when they just swiftly just shut it down and moved on. Now, I will say this. I don't think he's stopped thinking about this. I think that they know darn well that, our character was not going to argue. They left and they kind of went back to their peaceful world in the garden with the cats and the birds and the orange trees. And we just kind of see somebody who's like, the reason I don't deal with people that lie and they get hostile about it is because I don't want a life that isn't peaceful. You build better and you grow better when you get a foundation you can count on. I have to say, I think our character being wise enough to let stuff go that doesn't click, doesn't work for them, is them listening to their higher self. And this is clearly them like having that relationship with their own, I'll say guides. We may have somebody new and somebody very real and very serious that our character is about to meet, because they've been planting the seeds that they really wanted to develop, which is, I cut my losses with people who lie. I trust my instincts. I live my truth. I'm growing the tree of life that I want to grow. And I do that by cutting out things that I don't want in my life and basically weeding out my garden. And I think this is saying, after all this investment of time, our character has, Seven of Pentacles is a culmination of good things. And then we have that, Hierophant here. I wonder if our character is about to meet a Taurus who is very, like, maybe in spiritual alignment with them, because we see the doves flying around here as well. This is coming up behind our character. This is something they won't probably expect. And yet, I think whatever they went through, that final disappointment with somebody that they had to walk away from because of their lies, that was like the final test, the final proof that I really, truly, I'll be single like a cat. Or, if my alternative is to have somebody that I can't trust, thank you, no, I'll be single like a cat and just grow my beautiful, peaceful life and garden. Don't need a partner if all I can find is liars. I'm just not going to do that because it's not really what I want. And I think that was their final test to make sure that, yeah, they really are ready for somebody who will be their other half, somebody that is so much like them. Because we actually have two doves flying together. I too want peace and calm. I think it's going to shock our character, but somebody that they may not expect is going to be approaching them, maybe tapping them on the shoulder. They could meet somebody who's like, excuse me, can you give me directions wherever? It just feels like it's going to be a beautiful surprise from the divine, but it is a divine counterpart, somebody that's very truthful, somebody that probably has the same values that they do. But it's interesting that our character had to get through that final test of do you want to deal with unevolved or less mature souls? And our character said no, thank you, I really mean it, I don't want that. And the universe was like, great, because we got this other person for you. Enter stage left. That's how that feels. It feels nice, it feels unexpected, and it feels well deserved. So here's hoping that person taps him on the shoulder sooner rather than later. Thank you again, honey. All right, next up, MOnique. MOnique, thank you so much. You are so incredibly generous. I am absolutely blown away. Please forgive me. I couldn't see the rest of the chat. As the chat moves on and on, and the longer I'm in a video, I don't get to see everything. So please forgive me. I don't know for sure. I have a check mark by your name, but I don't know if that was because you did say yes, I could pull out some cards for you, or if that was me saying check with MOnique. So please forgive me. I hope that you had said yes, I have permission. If not, I do apologize. I never mean to trespass. I just want to show my appreciation to you and say thank you so, so, so much for your incredible generosity. So please just know they're always just fictional stories. So I'm not trying to trespass and tell you anything about you, but I hope that you'll allow me to say thank you. And I hope that that was okay with you. And forgive me if I got that wrong and the check mark didn't mean that you had said yes, because I always like to check with people. But I don't mean to trespass. We have the Two of Cups upright. We have the World upright. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Star. We have the Ten of Cups. And we have the Four of Swords. Oh my God, I love this layout so much. First off, the tulips make me think of two lips, like two people that have some very sweet kisses. This could be two people who have spent almost half of their lives before they find each other, meet each other. They could have come from other parts of the world, or just life has kept them busy in other endeavors. And probably those other endeavors are very like similar in the sense that they both had like big investments, big contributions to make to this world. Everybody has a contribution to make, but sometimes we like really get into a mindset where it's like, before I'm even ready to match with my other half, I need to first like commit to developing things that are super important to me, like other agendas that I came into this life for. I don't think everything in life is just like, oh, gotta go find a partner, right? We're here to expand our own minds, develop ourselves as individuals, get a chance to spread our wings and fly, get a chance to experience life as, a sovereign individual who gets to, have interests and hobbies that are just purely for our own sake, and things that just matter to us, that we feel like, I have to do this because it matters to me. That is maybe a similar mindset for both of them, which is great, because what we're showing is, as interwoven as these two are, they still have these remarkably independent minds. Sometimes, the Two of Cups can look like people who get into like this merged relationship blob. I mean, literally, that's what the picture looks like. It's the twins, conjoined. But in truth, the only thing that is conjoined about them is that they're similar in their independent spirit, but also the fact that they have to do other things that are important, because that is part of their life mission and what they're here to do. But also they will understand that from another person who is the same way. It's like, babe, you have to develop yourself just like I have to develop myself. I'm not mad at you for that. I mean, I wouldn't want my opportunities to grow as an independent, sovereign person to be, taken away because I met somebody that's great for me, I'm supposed to be in a relationship with them, immediately. No, I can love somebody, or I can know that my somebody is out there, and I'll meet them when I'm done taking care of some other stuff I came to this earth to take care of. And I think that mindset is amazing. This could be two people who have been knowing that they love each other, but have been apart for, I'm thinking years. And it makes perfect sense. It's because it's like, I've got this other, there's a great song. But if you get there before I do, don't give up on me. I'll meet you when my chores are through, but I don't know how long I'll be. But I'm not going to let you down, darling, wait and see. And between now and then, till I see you again, I'll be loving you, love me. I think it might be maybe Vince Gill. Is again 90s country. I do love my 90s country songs, but it's a really sweet song. It's about like an old grandma, grandpa that are telling their love story to like their grandkid or something. And that's maybe the most appropriate song for this, because it is like, I'll meet you when my chores are through. I'll see you. I'll meet you there. We'll be together. And it's like something is coming up. The time is coming up for this. Maybe because we're headed into Mercury retrograde, and maybe it just happens to coincide with like, okay, we've had years of self-development, but our time to actually come together, that's my wish now. I could see I'm ready for this. I think I could definitely be ready for this for my person, whether I know who they are or whether I don't. I'm getting into the headspace and heart space. I'm ready for my 10 of cups. I've done a ton of healing. Like the angels have told me, like, you're rested up, you're ready to rock and roll. I feel like our character is sleeping like a baby after this, knowing that I pretty much think that I'm on track now. I think that if they're ready, I know I'm ready. So I would assume that finally, somewhere possibly in this year, we're at the 6 month mark, right? And sure enough, that's exactly where we are on this card. Now, I usually look at the year time frame as like a whole year cycle. So maybe it's like by the end of the year. And remember that we're in the year of the fire horse, but the Asian calendar begins and ends in February, right? I think it was February 17th. We switched over to the year of the fire horse. So I can look at it as like, oh, we're 6 months through the year. Or if we were going to talk about it in the year of the fire horse, we're not quite 6 months, right? I don't know. This just looks like it could be that our character has like the next 5 to 6 months to just revel and enjoy resting and putting a smile on their face, knowing like, I'm I'm ready for my forever person. I've done what I needed to do as a solo individual. Now, if they're ready for me, I'm ready for them. I sleep like a baby at night, knowing this is still just my chance to just like, oh, I'm comfortable in my bed. Right now I'm still sleeping all alone, but I am so looking forward to my forever partner. We've got the Knight of Swords and we've got the Three of Wands. This gives us a time frame of about 3 months into the future. Things are going to probably pick up pace for a character, and the future is, arriving. Our character actually is quite busy during these next couple months because I think it's all about like nesting and preparation for long-term partnership. The other half, the complementary energy. And I kind of think this is so beautiful. Like all of this feels like a happy next several months of a character's life, knowing full well that things are about to get a lot better because I've worked really hard. I've done things that I needed to, and I have more to look forward to. I'm welcoming in the next adventure, which is my forever person. This looks so sweet. Maybe they're already going to be communicating with somebody. Maybe the two of them are starting to like, align to come back together. But first, there's going to be some communication for a couple months, and then it's like, can't wait to see you, babe. It feels like two people could be reacquainting with one another very soon and starting to look forward to union is what it seems like. Oh, that was beautiful. I so thoroughly enjoyed those characters. All right. Thank you again, sweetheart. And thank you for all of your amazing generosity, Monique. I appreciate you so much. Next up's SLH. Here we go. Coming in at 20133. SLH, thank you so, so much. And thank you for not just your generosity, but your consistent kindness and the fact that you accept me as Sassy Kate. That is the sweetest thing ever. Thank you so much for for giving me the space to be all opinionated about the characters. I am that person anyway, because I always want to defend characters if they're not being treated very nice. But you're so incredibly kind and generous, and it just makes me chuckle that you accept Sassy Kate. So we start out with the Five of Cups in the reverse, to the Lovers in the reverse. We have got a feminine who's not shedding a single tear over a lover's bond. She is not telling herself any kind of story about like, oh my God, the angels brought me this person and they wanted me and I wanted them, but then, something. She's not telling herself an unhappy love story and clinging to it, which is terrific. She's saying, maybe that was all I was supposed to have with this person, or maybe they weren't that great after all. I'm not going to live in the memory of the person that it didn't work out with. I live in the here and now, not in the past, and I don't live in deep regrets. And again, maybe not everything is all it's cracked up to be. I hardly doubt that my entire life is hinging on whether or not I end up with this one person who I'm already not with. So I'm going to assume there's nothing to cry over because there's probably better up ahead for me, or my life goes on. So it feels like a realist or somebody who can look at things with just a very blunt, you know what? It's okay that some things don't work out in life. We got the Seven of Pentacles. We have the King of Cups in the reverse. Okay, I don't think this is a character being pissy or casting shade, but they are saying, honestly, whoever it was that I'm not crying over, he's been on this planet a long time, but if he still chooses to be emotionally manipulative, If he still hasn't learned anything, yeah, I'm not here to teach somebody when they've already been in the classroom of life for plenty of decades. It's because you don't want to learn, you don't want to do your homework, and I'm not here to force feed you to do your homework so you can graduate and become a king upright. So you can be emotionally manipulative if that's what you have chosen to develop. That's fine. But I think our character knows he may be thinking deeply. Maybe our character was blunt enough to tell them that, you know what? I'm not going to cry over you. I'm not going to, because the emotional manipulation is nothing that I'm going to miss. And you've been here a long time. You're grown up just like me. You should know better. So this is you choosing not to be better. Not my problem. You got to figure yourself out. Maybe that's like, whoa, that was blunt. That's somebody who told me a truth and it's sinking in at this point because they keep kind of mulling over this. If our lead character told them something, and maybe that doesn't sound very kind, but maybe it was necessary and maybe it was true, even if it sounded hurtful. We have the Nine of Swords in the reverse, almost like, wow, she said she's not going to miss me and she's not going to stress out over me. And I think she meant it because she seemed real calm about it. She didn't say she was mad at me. How dare I treat her like this? She said, well, this isn't anything for me to cry over because this wasn't a good time. There's too much manipulation. Don't like it. Don't want it. Peace out. He's like realizing, oh my God, she really meant it. She's not stressed. She's moving on and she's happy. I didn't make any like lasting impact. She's not up at night. With the moon and the Six of Cups, this is crazy because he's sitting over here going, somewhere from deep down, I know that I crossed paths with her because she just taught me something. I don't know if there's a height discrepancy here, but he might have been taller, she might have been shorter, but it could have also been maybe like an age related thing. It's like he could have been older than her, but obviously not as mature. Um, and it's like I can't believe it, but like this is what a soulmate really is. A soulmate is somebody that we are in the classroom of life with, and they sometimes we teach them stuff, sometimes they teach us stuff. Sometimes both people learn, but he's not looking at it in this hostile way. He's like, somewhere deep down in my subconscious, maybe I met her to learn this. Maybe I needed to hear these words because maybe I wouldn't have taken it from anybody else. But damn, if she didn't nail something in my subconscious that I do need to think about, that this is thought provoking for sure for him. Six of Wands is upright, Queen of Swords is sideways, and Empress is sideways. This is so wild because he was very ego driven and he's realizing he just got called out for that. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm hearing that don't impress me much. Shania Twain. So you got the moves, but have you got the touch? And don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think you're all right, but that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. It's like she literally did not think that whatever his typical accomplishments were anything that made her interested. And I think maybe he was trying to say, well, she's not really an empress or a queen, then is she, if she's not wowed by all this? And I think he's realizing, damn, she just gave me a powerful perspective of why she wasn't interested. And she wasn't trying to be mean, even if I'm kind of mad because it's kind of mean. But she did tell me point blank something that maybe I needed to hear. I think he is a little pissy because his ego, but he also knows when somebody said something that was true. So let me just ask, what does that mean? Eight of Cups and the Devil. She walked away from me, and I know damn well why she did. And I'm sitting here wishing I could actually talk to her some more, because as much as I didn't like hearing that, she probably has other things I need to hear. Look, I think he loves her. I think he wants her. I think that he also is possibly aware that there's a reason that they met and there's a big, huge bond here, and there's more information that he needs to glean or learn about. And this has maybe been the most helpful, most useful. Let me put it this way. The hardest class I ever took was chemistry, OChem in particular, and yet probably one of the most impactful at the same time. I'm not saying like, ooh, yeah, let's do some more chemistry. No, it's really freaking hard. But I think it made me better as a person. I think it, made me more dazzled by life and more like you can't possibly fail to be in a state of wonder the more you learn about life and about science. It's mind blowing. It's so intelligent. The designs are so intelligent, and it makes you really appreciate your life and the life of every living thing. The more you learn about the components that the molecules that make us what we are, it is remarkable. And I just kind of feel like she was his hardest class, but also possibly the thing that has made the biggest impact on him. I don't see him reaching out real soon, but I see him perpetually wishing that he could, maybe being afraid of what else she'll tell him, but also kind of hungry to find out. I don't think that she's heard the last of him, but he's definitely still churning over stuff, thinking about things and going through in his mind because this has changed him permanently in a good way. I like the fact that there's not actual hostility. It's a begrudging like sense of, yeah, she was freaking right. But it does speak well of him that he's not pissed about it exactly, but almost wants to come back for more. So I kind of like that. It's I do think that these two met for a reason. That's for sure in this. Anyway, thank you again, SLH. Thank you so much. All right, next up, Yael. Here we go, my dear. Yael, thank you so, so much. You are unbelievably generous and kind. I didn't get a chance to properly thank you the other night. I think you were in and out so quickly. And I hope that this is okay. That I know you've allowed me to do little stories for you in the past. I just wanted a chance to say thank you. But admittedly, when the chat moves really fast, I don't always get to see your response. And so please forgive me. I never mean to trespass. I hope it's okay that I'm doing a story for you, though not about you. But I apologize if you didn't give me the confirmation I thought you had, but I could be mistaken. There were a couple of people who I didn't catch clearly enough in the moment. I put your name down on a list, but MOnique, I wasn't actually sure that I saw you say a yes, I guess, because I have a check mark, but I don't know if it was to check with you again or if it was to say yes. So please forgive me if I just fumbled this. I didn't mean to. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for your incredible generosity and kindness always. It is wonderful to hear from you, and I hope you've been really, really well. We have a King of Pentacles for this story. We have the Chariot, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. That King of Pentacles starts out really great. He's in deep thought, but he's somebody who's kind of resting against his tree of life, and he's about to eat this apple. I feel like if you're taking a bite out of the apple, it's the next adventure. It's I'm ready to go ahead and have whatever that is in the cards for me. With this Chariot, I always look at it as I found my wolf pack. I know like who I belong with. And I'm setting my course. I think this is possibly somebody who is very, they know who they are. They've got deep roots in self-awareness. They also know kind of like either the direction they want to go, but also who they can consider friends in this life, the kinds of people that they resonate well with. And I feel like they have an intention. Again, this is like we see the tree of life again here. This is very much about family, community, and the direction that I intentionally am building connections, and I'm setting a course for what I want my life to be, who I want in my life, the way I'm going to blossom. And it feels like an intention. It feels like I have this bigger goal in life and I know what it is, and it's maybe to help people, maybe it's to help my family or people that I consider my family. But there is this greater goal in life. Oh, it's beautiful. We have Two of Cups. We have Queen of Cups. We have Three of Pentacles. This is the way a character lives their life is I'm ready to like really, I'm not saying that they didn't used to be social, but I am saying that this could be a character who is so much more connected now to the individuals that in life we pick up soulmates, we pick up friends. I personally think family to me is anybody that I count under my umbrella of love and protection. I don't care if I'm blood related to somebody or not. You're one of my people, and it just means like my closer like inner core group of people that I've developed deep trust with, people that if they called you at whatever, 4:15 in the morning, you'd answer and be like, yeah, I can be there. Where do you need me to be? And it's just like, it doesn't even matter. You'll just be there for them. That kind of group, I think that our character is like, maybe they've developed a lot as an individual, and now they are able to put more of their attention toward things that will benefit their group, their core group, their friends, and they're also ready for a long-term partnership to both give and receive deep love. I think our character is, when we reach a point in life where we know who we are, and then we can start to like develop other aspects of our life because we're a finished product, we're developed, and now we can turn our attention to things a little bit outside of our own personal development. Other things like that matter more to us. We take a bigger interest in the world around us, and like the geopolitical world, or a bigger interest in what we can do for extended groups of people around us, but also those that are like integral and interwoven into the fabric of our lives. I kind of think that's where our character is. They have like this very broad view about all the people that they love and cherish, and that has become front and center. I want to do things that will help, my family develop. I want to do things that develop more relationships. And along this path, we have our character really open to falling deeply in love, really open to building a family, building, profound. I don't know if this is them meeting the love of their life and then starting something together with that person. This could be a business, could be having a child, but it just looks so beautiful. It looks like my whole life I've been developing, and now I am the one who's giving support. Like, let me put it in one last context here. When we plant a tree as like a sapling, we have to kind of tend to it, right? But then as a tree grows and the roots get deeper and stronger, that tree is actually holding down the earth at that point. It can be keeping the topsoil where it belongs. It can keep, be helping to stabilize, an entire like shelf of earth or something. And I just feel like that's who this character is. At one point in time, they were the sapling. Now they're the gigantic tree with deep roots. And so what they can do now for others is to like, become like the shade for a lot of other people in their life, the shade tree. I love the fact that this character sees themselves as like on this second chapter of their life. And it's with this huge confidence and this huge awareness that, oh my God, I'm ready for other relationships, personal relationships, romantic relationships, but I can feel proud that I have so much to offer those around me. I love this character, and they have such a positive opinion of their own, growth, and then what they can further do with that to make the world better, to make other people's lives better. We have the Hermit, we have the Hierophant, we have the Nine of Wands. This is a culmination of a lot of deep thought that our character has had, and kind of like this wonderful, kind of like figuring out what their life path is. I don't doubt that this character has gone through times of hurt, pain, stress, rage, even, at different things, like, why do I have to go through certain things? But then we see them saying, all of this has increased my depth of understanding, my depth of compassion. I'm not saying, I never want to make a statement that it's like, oh, somebody goes through something tough, but that's okay because it just makes you a kinder person. No, nobody should have to go through horrible, painful things. But I am saying this character themselves is just digesting, or has fully digested, the experiences that they've had. And it has become this amazing, like, core of strength within themselves, and this beautiful higher perspective. This is somebody who has like a ton of love within them, a ton of kindness within them, somebody who truly is, I think, just comprehending that the amount of hurt, first off, that they had to overcome to become this very like spiritually solid core that they are. And I think that this character has such a deep understanding of themselves, but also they could be quite a sage now, somebody who has just a lot of patience and, compassion and love within them. And that's a direct result of everything that they have endured and how they've come out the other side of those things. I do think this person could be a great leader, in like helping other people, like mentoring other people get through really tough moments in their own life. We have a Knight of Cups. We have the Lovers. We also have the High Priestess. The other thing I love about this is it's like our character is saying, and never underestimate how much, even if you have a ton to offer and you are that powerful, strong tree that can provide shade to others, don't ever underestimate how much we all need each other, because this is a character saying, and having a romance and a lover is such a huge blessing. That is an important component of my life. I'm not just here to, only grow and try to help other people, but everything on this earth is a symbiotic relationship, right? Like if you look at cycles of things, the seasons that we have provide times of dormancy for plant life, and that's important. And then the spring returns, and then we see that plants have grown. Like there's different reasons for everything, and there's some kind of like cycles and complementary energies everywhere we look on this planet. And so we're not just here to only give, we are here to also learn to receive. And I think that's what our characters recognized. And maybe this is one of the things that they are profoundly aware is making their life so much better. Is I needed to also allow someone to hold me gently and love me. I needed to allow that into my life also, because I need that. As much as I have a ton to give other people and I want to give, I need to receive as well. I think this is such a great like spiritual lesson for this character. I think that they are very spiritual and very aware of their life path. And I kind of think that their life path is not just to have love and support around them as much as they're going to be offering that to other people, but it was to understand this and maybe be some kind of voice of reason and patience. I kind of think that whomever their partner is going to really also lift them up and support them in this kind of like gift that they have to share, maybe like with the world. I don't know. This just feels like somebody who could be such a great, gentle leader for helping people get through really difficult things in their life, and then, reconnect with their inherent value, their intrinsic value, and also how valuable it is to give and receive love. I loved this character. I loved their journey that we saw, and I love the fact that they have like a new chapter of their own life journey just starting. So it's nice to see. Thank you again, sweetheart. Really appreciate you. All right, next up, Devine. Here we go. Dawn, thank you so much, honey. It is always such a delight to hear an update from you. It's always great to catch up and hear that things are going amazing. Excuse me. Just a second. All right, let's go ahead and pop on in and see what we've got. We have a 7 of Swords. It is sideways. We have a 6 of Wands upright. We have a 10 of Swords upright. We have a 4 of Pentacles upright. The card that's actually showing up to me the most is this right here, which is interesting because it should have been this one, because I love this card. But this card says we have got, first off, talk about somebody flexible and strong, right? If you're going to be able to plie that deep and stay on point like that on your toes, amazing, strong, graceful, powerful, possibly masculine, who is like holding their breath and saying 2 things at once. I know that sometimes people lie, and sometimes we lie to ourselves. It's a two-way street. It's a cooperative effort sometimes. Sometimes we lie and we act like everything's fine, everything's rosy. And really, I don't know that I want to do that. I think I want to be able to experience a full range of emotions. I think I want to be able to maybe even let go of a preconceived notion that we're only supposed to talk about the good stuff in life, because it's not. There's a lot of value in talking about the negative also. It doesn't mean to like sit around and talk all the time about negative stuff, just like it doesn't behoove us to pretend that everything is always fabulous. Acknowledging just the reality of, our authentic experiences in life is somehow grounding, and it's soothing, and it reassures us that like human beings can actually talk at an authentic level. And I think that this character is a very authentic individual. And I think that they're realizing you're a stronger person when you have the flexibility of mind and heart to think about your own life experiences and be able to share those with people. And I don't think that they have much time for insincere individuals. Now, in particular, possibly in like romantic context, I think this is a person who's like, what I've seen, and it's not to criticize, okay, but I'll always tell whatever story I get, good, bad, or ugly. So please just bear in mind, of course, it's fictional, but I'm gonna say kind of hints that he said what I think I've noticed is that people who act like everything's fine, if they're lying to themselves about that, then they crash out real freaking hard, or they start to get bitey and nasty because it's hard to keep up a fake facade. And or if they're only happy when they feel powerful, it's going to be lots of times in life where you don't feel powerful. Um, and you got to be able to be okay with that too. And I think that he's recognized when people lie to themselves and act happy when they're only happy if things are going their way, that's not going to lead to like a genuine comfort zone in a partnership. And so I kind of think he's learned that, and he's learned a more true vision of what strength looks like. Um, you hold on to your truth no matter what. This wasn't going so well, but you know what? I know not every day is going to be a 5-star day. Sometimes things that we want, we can crash out on, and it's like, okay, got to dust off, got to go back to the drawing board on that, got to try again. It just feels like he holds on and holds his strength in being flexible and realizing that in life, it's not only about the high points. That's not the only place we're going to find value in life. And you can't only get joy as long as everything's going your way. You have to be able to find joy on the days that are not good either. And I think he's learned not to deal too closely with people that are only happy if everything seems to be perfect. And I think he's learned that in romance, and that decides the personality type that he does or doesn't really want to bring in too close in his world. Mastery of coins is actually the Queen of Pentacles. We have a Four of Cups that is sideways. I think that I know we see Queen of Pentacles, but this is actually the King of Pentacles. In this deck, they inverted or flip-flopped the two. So this should be the Nurturer of Pentacles with the feminine on it, and that would be the Queen of Pentacles, but instead on the King's card, they put the feminine. So I'm going to say this. Our character could have a very strong blend of, like, one of the things that our character is so good at is he's mastered his divine feminine energy. Divine feminine meaning the nurturing side, the gravitational side, because this is a King's card with a feminine on it. And I think this is depicting him. He found his true strength is in being able to, understand things through an emotionally intelligent side also. If we think about like the feminine, it can be the instinctual side, like a mother's instinct kind of thing. And maybe the emotional, since the feminine is associated with the moon, and that's kind of emotions and subconscious and gravitational pull. I think he's learned how to not criticize people, but to read people pretty well, because he mastered his emotional feminine side. And that's been a fabulous boost in understanding what's really making people sad. Where are they mad at me, or are they mad at something going on in their own life? Where are people's wounds and disappointments? I even think, this is not to be insulting to other people, but I think that we have a character who's really good at looking at people and stripping it down to their inner child. Not like, okay, I'm adult and you're just a stupid kid who doesn't know your own emotions. But I am going to say, I think that he's had enough experience in life to say, I've learned how to be flexible and strong and keep my core of who I am. And I've also learned how to nurture and maybe be a strong source of emotional intelligence for people. And I can see kind of when they're disappointed and unhappy, where is that really coming from? I think this is a real gift. Even here, it's like his third eye perhaps is very open. And yes, he has practiced this by watching perhaps a particular feminine who either looks really happy, but sometimes isn't at all, and can go from happy to depths of despair really fast. It feels like it's a romantic interest who or maybe it's like the bigger picture as a whole, just learning to understand people, what makes them tick, where's their real source of unhappiness coming from. And I kind of think he doesn't suffer from the same like roller coaster of or swinging pendulum of emotions. Nurture of Wands in the reverse. I feel like this is a person who's like the study of like human behavior or something, because they're also saying, and I can also see where somebody is so stuck and rooted in their unhappiness and their cyclical behavior of like, I'm upset, I'm mad, and I'm going to blame somebody else because somebody should fix what I'm not happy with in myself. And I think he has come to recognize that that's basically, he understands the karmic cycle, the karmic energy of the unhappiness that resides within you is something you must fix, but you are wanting somebody else to fix it for you. That's never good. It's never going to work. You'll always be unhappy unless you fix it inside yourself. You have to first find your flexible core the way I have. The fact that and this is such a compassionate look at why perhaps an ex that they dealt with was harsh and unkind. He's not saying, oh, she was a bitch. That is not at all his summary. He's to this character's great credit. They've withdrawn enough, removed themselves from it enough, and digested it enough in a very understanding and compassionate way to better understand somebody who might have treated them really poorly. Frankly, I mean, a Queen of Wands in the reverse is the pits to deal with, because as powerful as they are and charismatic as they are, when they're mad, when they think that somebody should respect them, they're way out of bounds when they're in the reverse. When they're upright, fabulous. But, think of like the hotter, your stove is, the more painful it's going to be if you touch it, right? Whereas if it was just barely on for a split second and then you touch it, it's like, oh, that's warm, but it didn't burn me. But if it's been raging hot and you put your hand on it, it burns bad. That's basically like, it can be a real burn when she's in the reverse. I think to this character's credit, they have understood, instead of just saying, oh, that person's a jerk, they took great care to try to understand what made somebody be who they are. But I think they put it in the bigger context too, to understand, why do humans behave certain ways? So all I can say is it seems like a very strong character who didn't get mad, but instead just absorbed and understood more. Beautiful character with kind of a beautiful intention there. All right. Thank you again, Dawn. Next up, Alicia on her path. Got it 2:31:16. All right, Alicia on her path. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you for all of your incredible kindness, generosity, support. Absolutely, just the most loving, most supportive. I'm so touched. You guys are all so kind, but it's so consistent also, and I'm blown away by how kind you guys are. Thank you. This actually, I was digging for that deck, and I don't actually want that one after all. Don't ask me why, but this one is catching my eyeball. I will say, I guess I really was drawn to greens and green blues, because that's what was drawing my eye, and it's kind of greens and green blues here. So I don't know if that's going to be important or not, but it was definitely color that was dragging my eye, and it was for the greens and blues. So maybe heart chakra and throat chakra, but it's kind of more of an aquamarine as well. Maybe that's the color of somebody's eyes or something that somebody's wearing. Okay, we have Page of Cups. We have 3 of Pentacles. We have the Sun, and we have the 8 of Swords. To start out with, yes, there is the desire for an apology. I think this is somebody who's struggling with how to say sorry. They may want to say sorry, and it's like, but I don't want to face the rest of her family or friends. I don't know if she's an only, like a single parent with an only child. This could be the other half of that union that produced this baby. But it kind of looks like part of them is like reticent to come in and say sorry, because like, I don't want to disrupt. I can see you're happy. You've got a support network around you. You've got your family. You've got your child. You've got everything that you need. And I feel like as much as I want to say sorry, I just can't come in and do that. Not without, some kind of an invite. So I feel like this is somebody who's wanted to say sorry, but can't seem to bring themselves to do it. And it could be just Maybe this is them thinking that I shouldn't disrupt. High Priestess, okay, so she already knows this. She's like, oh, I know that they're sorry. Of course I can feel that. I doubt this will be the only time, in life that I feel this coming off of them either. I know that they wish that they could say sorry. Um, and I am happy. High Priestess, she knows a lot. King of Wands. She's kind of holding a crystal ball here. I don't know that I think that the King of Wands is them. I think two things are going on here, and maybe let's use the other deck too, because maybe this explains why I was between two decks here. It could be that possibly the father of a child wishes that they could say sorry. They may have gotten themselves, into some trouble. Maybe they took a lot of wrong turns in life. And maybe that's the part that they're sorry for. It's like, I'm sorry I made some bad decisions and now that's impeded my ability to be there. She knows this and there's no anger or wrath directed at them. But we also have a King of Wands. And it's almost like she can also look into her future and say, I can also see there is a King of Wands on the horizon for me. Let's take a look at the King of Wands. King of Pentacles, King of Wands. Okay, I think that we can clearly say then this is most likely she can already foresee she will hear from him. I'm going to say he's probably the King of Pentacles, but there is a King of Wands as well. And it's almost like she's got this premonition. How much you want to bet when I'm dealing with a King of Wands somewhere in my not too distant future? And she can already know the King of Wands, be interested in the King of Wands. He could know about if she has, a child's father. He may know the situation. And it's like he may also understand, because I don't think she trash talks him at all. I think it's like, he was a good person or I wouldn't have had a child with him in the first place. There was a lot of good things about him, but it feels like the King of Wands knows, and she knows that the King of Wands knows that obviously there was another king in my life. And to a certain extent, that other king will remain in my heart, but he was a King of Pentacles and you're a King of Wands. I think the King of Wands knows this. We have the Magician sideways. He may have a little bit of a question mark about is it me that she wants to be with? For sure, for sure. Six of Swords sideways. Has she fully healed and let go of him? And again, I think the High Priestess will probably be intuitive about that as well. Basically, I think we have two masculines that care very much about this High Priestess. And I think they know that she cares for both of them as well. And I kind of think it's just there's a lot of unspoken, human adult comprehension. Like life as adults is complicated because we discover that we can love people unconditionally, even if we're not going to be able to be with them. We have a Three of Cups, and literally, I mean, it's like, look, there may never be a time when the King of Wands gets her all to himself in a traditional sense. Because if she has history with somebody else or shares a child with somebody else, obviously that person will somehow still always be a part of the picture. Essentially, there are three people now in a relationship, even though they're not at the same time. It is in the mature way that, hey, you have a history, you have an ex, you have somebody you had a child with, all of that makes perfect sense. Three of Wands. Again, he keeps thinking about the future, though, and he's kind of looking through the forest of trees there, trying to figure this out. 10 of Wands. I think he's just like, as long as she's not heartbroken over somebody else, as long as she wants to be with me, the real me, and isn't torn between me and wishing that I was somebody else, as long as I have confirmation that it's me she's looking at, it's me she's thinking of when she's kissing, it's me. He does need that confirmation. And maybe this is the heads up to her. I would assume she already knows this, but let's just ask one last question. What are the angels trying to say to the High Priestess? Two of Swords. To a certain extent, if she needs to kind of block out We got Knight of Wands sideways. Look, this maybe is a little bit tough. Maybe her mind does turn to the person of her past, and the angels are like, you're going to have to probably pick one or the other for, like, especially romantic thoughts. Magician upright, Knight of Swords. Also, I kind of think that the universe or angels are nudging her, saying, and it's kind of like she already knows the future that she wants to manifest. Maybe this is a time for her to, I don't know how else to say this gracefully. Please remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters, but it's like it doesn't probably behoove her to remember, especially like romantic aspects of a past person, and especially not romantic if they were not somebody that was like reliable, because that Knight of Wands can be somebody that cheats or somebody's kind of unreliable and they're in and out of our lives. And it just kind of says that if we want a really like stable future, sometimes we have to stop letting unstable things eat up our time, our thoughts, our memories. And especially if any of those unstable moments hurt us, nursing a hurt or remembering too frequently somebody that was, untrustworthy or something, even though there was unconditional love there, that could derail the stable future where we need to give all of our attention to, it's just kind of like, well, we don't need to think too much about things that didn't work out. Like if let's talk about cooking for this. If we were to have a recipe book and we made a recipe and it was a flop, and we didn't like the flavor of it. We could say, okay, the recipe flopped because I didn't put enough gelatin, so the whole thing didn't set well. But if I also didn't like the flavor of it, the flavor is not going to change even if I put in enough gelatin next time to make it set. So why don't I not make that anymore? And why don't I just go ahead and forget that recipe and spend my money on recipes of food that I do want to still try and things that I do want to still invest in? Because there's no point if we already know that's not the flavor that we want. Why keep buying those ingredients and retesting those recipes for things that didn't set the first time around? And it's okay that maybe we made some mistakes too in the recipe, but if we don't actually want that recipe, why keep thinking about it? Why not just spend our money on ingredients for a different recipe instead? I don't know if that's a very good analogy. It's the best way I could say it. It just, I don't know. I think the angels are just nudging her to pick, in her head how she wants her future to look, because she's so powerful and her intentions are coming across even to that King of Wands, who I think really, really wants her, but wants to know that she really, really wants him too. I don't know. I like him. I like the potential for this, but here's hoping for characters. I always want the best for every character. All right. Again, thank you so much, Aliiaonherpath. Duanette Raven, my dear, thank you so much, honey. So appreciate you. Thank you for all the years that you've been a part of my world. I am so touched, so honored. I always love your name too, Duanette Raven. It's so pretty. I don't know. It's like the raven's name in like a book or something would be Duanette. And I love the full title, Duanette Raven. It's beautiful. All right, so we start with the King of Wands. We go to the Temperance, to the Ten of Wands, to the King of Cups. I'm not going to say anything yet because I can't figure out if this is one person or two. Six of Swords, Hanged Man sideways, Four of Cups, Page of Wands. This is kind of feeling like I think our lead character is probably going to be our Temperance energy. So possibly a Sag, possibly a feminine. And it seems like she is either thinking about a King of Wands and also concerned about the journey of a King of Cups. And that's been possibly bugging her down with the Hanged Man sideways here. And this is like, I know I need to stop worrying too much about that person's journey. Six of Swords. I know this could be like, let's say, lots of times we care about human beings that maybe are not in our jurisdiction to care deeply about. We worry about that person that we saw, whatever, the checker at the grocery store who told us something personal. We could tell they were having a really bad day. And we're remembering them and we're thinking about them. We're keeping it in our thoughts and prayers. And that's beautiful. But in this case, she's saying, I might be somebody whose gift is to be empathic, but it's also a curse because sometimes I worry so much about somebody else and I need to keep that in balance. Because if I'm fretting more about someone that is not necessarily super close in my world or under my jurisdiction, my umbrella of protection, then am I shortchanging somebody who is my actual, day-to-day contact person? And it almost seems like this is her grappling with, maybe they're like a natural healer or something like that as well, but it feels like she's learning how to spiritually just like keep somebody in her prayers and wish somebody well without devoting her energies specifically and diverting her energies from other people in her life to the people that she's fretting for. I feel like it's a very compassionate feminine who has like the capacity to feel people who are trying to find their way in this world and overcome some struggles, but it almost feels like she can accidentally give more energy to those individuals, and she's got to like reel that in just a little bit so it's not overwhelming for her either. There's something here where I don't know if she tends to guilt herself sometimes too and be like, I should have done more for so and so, I wish I had been there more for so and so. I think this is kind of the message, like your grace and your energy and sending good thoughts into the cosmos about somebody, that is a huge gift. Don't feel like you somehow still didn't do enough for people, because ultimately people have to take their own journeys to finding their answers and healing. And you know what, people are resilient too. People are not so fragile. Sometimes we don't get our strength. Like if we think about going to the gym and working out, you're really sore when you first work out, and then you start to like build more muscle mass, and then you get more strong and more flexible, and it's like that painful process is part of the necessary process, and another person can't take that pain out of our tissue for us. We just have to go through it ourselves. And it kind of feels like that's what she's learning. I think this is an empath and a very sweet soul who has been balancing this out, because I think that she worries about people, a particular person, a lot. Yeah, could have even worried a lot about an ex for a really long time, and is at that point where it's like, I'm allowed to move on with a new lover and fully invest. Here's that Temperance angel overhead saying, maybe even having somebody in my world to care for and cherish who is my person, and sharing that is something I needed to learn also, is let somebody care about me in return, instead of me always finding people who need care. Like, I think that is a great lesson for an empath, learning how to let somebody love us, also learning how to receive, not only how to feel what other people's needs are. And I think this is her saying, yeah, I get that. I get that. I think she's got a great lover on the horizon for herself. I think she's got a beautiful love story to enjoy. And this is her learning how to receive that and be okay, and not like feel guilty if, there's still somebody else somewhere in the recesses of her mind that she cares about and hopes is well. I love this blossoming for a character. All right. And last but not least, NoorA. Thank you guys again. I so appreciate you. NoorA, here we go, honey. 24716. All right. NoorA, thank you for your endless kindness. Thank you so much for your gentle words, just your beautiful energy. We have got a 7 of Cups. We have a Queen of Pentacles. We have a King of Cups. And we have the Moon upright. There's some kind of beautiful secret here. We've got characters that are either on the path to meet each other, and our feminine may not know this yet. She may not know she's already caught his eye. She could be busy, hard at work. She's somebody who's probably got a real elevated mindset. Whatever she does with, great care, great attention to detail, good, solid ideas. But everything that she's been busy on, she may kind of wonder sometimes, like, is this the life path I'm supposed to be on? Am I doing, things that are going to keep elevating my life? yes, I think she's in an amazing life, and everything that she pours her energy into, it's not for nothing, you know. But if she's wondered at all, like, is there love out there for me? You see the heart up at the top of that Seven of Cups. Is there love? Am I going to meet somebody, you know, being the person that I am, or do I need to whatever update something about myself? This says she doesn't even realize it, but someone's already fallen for her for everything that she is. We have a Queen of Cups, which is a perfect match to the King of Cups, with the Three of Wands. This is just saying that there is somebody who's already seen her as their match, their love match, their everything about her is like, oh God, that's everything I've been looking for. There's also a timeline on this where they will be, it's like they're drinking up their last sip of liquid courage before they like fly into her life, into her future. So it looks beautiful. It does look like she just doesn't know, because nothing has happened yet. They haven't made their move into her world yet. She hasn't seen this person show up. So how could she know that she's already on somebody's radar? Four of Wands, we have a card of marriage. She keeps coming across as solo, hardworking, super talented, somebody who's developing this beautiful life for herself, but had just kind of been asking herself, especially of late, am I on the path to like have love at some point? Or how does love come into my life? I know I can build almost anything, like as far as career path and things like that, but am I on a path that is going to result in me meeting somebody special? Or, you know, what else is in store for me, basically? Because I'm doing everything I can, and it's good, but maybe there's a few more things that maybe I'd like, or I'd like to have some things change in my life. What else is on the horizon for me? And it's like, oh, the horizon is coming to you, darling. We have got this amazing, you know, he's got this like passport or something. This could be somebody who will be flying in. This could be somebody from a different location, different country, but it's a soulmate. It could be a past life soulmate. This could also be that she's just now in a place where she's actually ready to ask that question. You know, sometimes when we're having a good old time in life and we're doing the stuff that we need to do, we don't pause and ask, you know, like, okay, you know, am I going to have more, or, you know, what's going on in my life? But other times when we become very proficient in what we're doing, that's when we go, okay, so this is good, but it's kind of, I can do this with one hand tied behind my back at this point. You know, every day is a little bit of Groundhog Day. Kind of the new, shiny new feeling has worn off, and I kind of need some more stimulation. So, is there something else going to come into my life too, universe? Because I'm kind of ready for something more. And it's like, oh yeah, we have a soulmate coming on in, and this soulmate could be somebody that she'll recognize right away. Okay, there's definitely going to be passion. Oh, judgment. Okay, so it could be a past soulmate, and this could be someone who, um, look, this could be a bit of a surprise. This could be somebody that went down some other path once a time ago, once upon a time, possibly a long time ago. This could have been somebody that she knew but didn't date. This could be somebody who was in some semi karmic relationship where they were forever like cycling around, you know, staying for the family, but didn't really work. This could also be somebody that she knows or has known through family connections for a long time. But what she knew of them was like, I kind of thought they had somebody, and it kind of seemed like somebody that, no, not so sure that that was such a great matchup for them. But who knows? You know, they stayed, they, whatever they were going to do, they did. It could be somebody like that, that she would be a little surprised that she is either front and center on their mind, or that they, I mean, they could be flying in, coming directly to see her. They could be coming to her, you know, whatever, they're in town and they're like, oh, I'd love to see her. You know, we knew each other a long time ago. It just feels like she may not know, but they've had their eye or their heart set on her for a very long time. Feels like there's going to be some reveal. Like there could be some things that she never knew about, I'm going to say him, about his feelings toward her. We have the Strength card upright. We have the Emperor in the reverse, so he's divorced. And we have the Ace of Swords upright. Definitely some big things to tell her about. This is some truth. I think the big thing is, first and foremost, I'm divorced. He's got the courage or the strength to have changed the things in his life that he needed to. But this truth that he seems to want to say to her, I think it's because, number one, I think he's happy with the decision he made. We see the rays of sunlight, from behind that sort of truth. I kind of think this was a long time coming. Three of Cups. He may also follow it up with, and to tell you the truth, I was always in love with you. You know what? I knew for many years that you were somebody that you were the road not taken. Look, I don't think this was a simple situation where it's like, oh, do I want her or her? It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like she was put in competition with this person. It could have been, oh, I knew them 20 years ago, but at the time they were married to somebody else. Their family was friends with my family. It seems like I've always known them, but we didn't date as teenagers, and they ended up getting married to somebody, in their 20s. And maybe it was always like, I wonder what would have happened with us. And it's like, well, they always wondered what would have happened too, but they picked and committed to the wrong person for many years. They're just now single, and now we have them able to say, I always wondered what would have happened with us. In fact, I've always wanted to find out, because it feels like she's been on their heart for, I don't know, I want to say a decade or something. It's crazy, but it feels like there's this knowing between both of them that this was always a soulmate connection. And it's interesting how she may just now be at a place or time in her life where she's like, okay, so I'm like, I've been living a good life, but I'm wondering, is there more out there for me? And it's like, it's so interesting that you ask. It's like the universe is responding from the voice of the moon here. And it's like, oh, would you be open to a surprise? Because there's something you never knew, which is there's this person who has always wondered what would happen with you. Oh, and P.S., they're single and they'd like to approach you. So if you're giving the universe the green light, they'll send this fella in. That's how this feels in this storyline. Honestly, there's it kind of feels like things are aligning properly, is what I would say about this. All right. Thank you again, NoorA. I so appreciate you and your lovely energy. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to bounce out of here. I'm going to take a little break, and then I will come back. I'm going to do a video on each channel, just a brief one, and then I'm going to go into our members video. So it'll be a late night, but I'll see you guys again later. All right. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you, everybody.